Welcome in, everybody, to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Really excited about today's show, folks. I had the privilege of reading a thriller this weekend. I'm going to hold it up for you there on video. There it is. It is called Fiend. My guest today is Alma Katsu, and I'm going to be a little vague today, but I'll tell you why. It's got a plot that is incredibly interesting. It involves the world of business. It involves a family from Albania, and a plot that I'll read it directly from the cover here, and I'll quote Grady Hendrix, the author of Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. If you like Succession but think it would have been a lot more fun with a 1,000-year-old demon, then Fiend has got you covered. That's what it says on the front of the cover. Now,
yes,
we'll let that hang for a moment. And I'll tell you a little bit about our guest today. Boy, even just telling you about our guest today, I think will get you excited. Alma Katsu is one of a kind, and is someone who I think you're going to really enjoy hearing from today and love talking to. I know I'm going to love talking to. She's the author of 8 novels, most recently Red London, The Fervor, Red Widow, and The Deep. Prior to the publication of her first novel, she had a 35-year-long career as a senior intelligence analyst for several U.S. agencies, including the CIA and NSA. I may have a question or two there, as well as RAND. Alma is a graduate of the Master's Writing Program at the Johns Hopkins University and received her bachelor's degree from Brandeis University. She lives in West Virginia with her husband and is a contributing reviewer for the Washington Post. So let's welcome in Alma Katsu for the first time to True Crime Tuesday. Hi, Alma. How are you?
good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm equally excited. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I tell you, I'll just say for our audience, our mixed audience as it is between genres, between true crime and the supernatural, I think this book hits a home run with both audiences.
Ooh.
And they're going to...
Sweet spot for your two audiences, yeah.
Boy, is it ever. And I think they're going to thoroughly enjoy this book. Before we get to that, though, can I ask you a question or two about your former career?
Sure.
Okay, because I know that gets right down the pipe, so to speak, with our true crime audience. We always I've had former CIA agents on the show in the past, and I find the career fascinating. Especially in today's day and age where it seems like roles are blending. It doesn't seem like the agency is the same as it was even 20, 30 years ago. Do you keep in touch much with your former colleagues in this day and age?
Not so much anymore. I retired out of intelligence in 2017, but then I was hired back by CIA as a consultant for 6 years. So it's only been coming up on about 2 years that I'm just completely out of it. I do run into friends, but for the most part, we're all sort of aging out together. Mm-hmm. I think you're right. To a large extent, things are changing. Part of that has to do with just the circumstances of the minute. It's usually the agency isn't on the out so much with the administration. They often think of the president as the first customer, but that's not the case right now. So that might also have something to do with the sort of, lost at sea sort of feeling that, I think correctly a lot of people feel about the intelligence community right now.
Is it safe to say that there's a switch in not necessarily the way that the intelligence agency operates, but its targets right now? It's almost like you're when you say that lost at sea feeling. Did we know at one time who we were surveilling and now we don't? Is that kind of where we're at?
Well, I mean, first of all, one thing that's pretty much a constant with intelligence is change. So when I started, it was the end of the Cold War. The bad guys were the bad guys that we've all known, for a while. Russia on top, China number two. But then a lot of unconventional intelligence topics came up. So in the 90s, for instance, if you remember, there were a lot of internal conflicts in Africa, Bosnia and Herzegovina, that sort of thing. And those were actually different for the intelligence community as well as the military. And I actually did a lot of work in that area, operations other than war. But then came the war on terror, and that was a huge sea change. Even though the intelligence community had been doing some work on counterterrorism, it was more of a second, maybe even third tier target, right? With 9/11, it got bumped up, of course, to number one priority. Huge change. Very proud of the intelligence community for being able to realign itself very quickly. But now that's on the back burner. We are back to a certain Cold War thing. China's really rising as a threat. But probably the most interesting thing is technology. We're in the last third of my career, I was a technologist, and that's what I did as a consultant for a long time. Sort of a futurist looking at emerging technologies. So, we're in an age of incredible technological change, and it's a challenge for the intelligence community, just as it is for everybody else out there and businesses out there. But it's really affecting the way that they're able to do business. We're not talking so much as like a target, who they're going to go after, but how are they going to get the information that they need when all the circumstances have changed. So that also, I think, contributes quite a bit to the lost at sea feeling because they're transitioning.
Let me throw one, it may be a difficult question for you to tackle, but there was one piece I saw in 60 Minutes that alarmed me, and it has to do with technology, and that is when we were talking about the drone controversy. This was, last year into this year, and swarms of drones flying over restricted airspaces. There was I believe it was a general that was on 60 Minutes that said, we don't know where these drones are coming from, but we know that they're going over our restricted airspaces. They're going over our military bases. They're going over, places that have sensitive information. We know they're coming from other countries. We know that they're able to come in and out. We just can't stop them. And that's a scary statement.
There's a lot of technologies out there that we're probably not best positioned to do anything about. I mean, drone swarms are one, yes. For every technology, you try to develop countermeasures. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure, if I'm going to try to be reassuring, sure, that there are teams of folks, both in the private sector and in the military, who are looking at countermeasures for drone swarms. But the part of me that's not going to be reassuring is there's a lot of other technologies, too, that are coming along that the government just hasn't been focusing on. Technological change is one of the hardest things to implement in the intelligence community. It's hard for many companies to do too. But part of the issue, and I was involved in two really major technological challenges. One, 30 years ago, and I was the first senior analyst for social media. It was my job to look at social media and figure out if there was intelligence value there. And that was 20 years ago. So what makes it really hard is when you have something new coming along, it challenges, all of the, not only the procedures you have in place, but the skills of the workforce. And it's the workforce that's going to have to adapt and learn how to utilize these new tools and understand. And that's very hard. It's very hard to convince a large workforce that they need to, especially with technology, learn some new technologies. So there's a lot of challenges there. And I'm not always sure that the government's focusing, especially right now, on real challenges.
Okay. That's fair enough. It was one of those things where, the mind can take off and think about how you could use certain technologies. And I think we all, and I'm going to bring this back around to this book about using using a power that's greater than you for evil and not necessarily for good, right? And that theme does run through this book, using a power greater than you and using it maybe not for nefarious purposes. And it to me, it seems like, anytime a human being wants to gets a hold of something, like say even something as innocent as a drone. We've had drones for God, how many years now? And in hobby stores. And it's just been a fun little thing we go out and play with in a field, right? Well, all of a sudden somebody takes that technology, says we can amp it up, and now we can mess around with state secrets. I mean, now we're getting to a new level of nefarious, right?
Well, but you're right. But I will say that those kinds of things always sort of go hand in hand. We talk about emerging technologies. It's always a two-sided coin. You can use it for good, or you can use it for offense, I should say, or you could use it for defense. So a new technology comes along and people determine that you can use this to further your goals, let's say, against your adversary. But then you have to figure out, well, my adversary is probably going to use it in the same way against me. How am I going to defend against that use? So, it's this sort of cat and mouse thing, right? That's always going along. You don't always see both sides of them, but.
So let's switch gears here. My Albanian's not good, but is it the Berishas?
Berishas, yeah.
Berishas. Okay.
I don't have Albanian. My Albanian is non-existent.
Okay. But that's the family we're focusing on here in Fiend, which again, excellent book that is going to be out September 16th, but is available right now for pre-order. And we do have a link in the description of this program. The Berishas, and we're gonna jump now into the book Fiend and tell us a little bit about this family, Alma, because they're quite the interesting family, headed by Zeph. Tell us first a little bit about Zeph and how he heads this business that is the center of this book.
Well, the Berisha family is a family, but it's also a business. Like the two are intertwined. And that's how they've thought about themselves for hundreds of years. I picked 1,000 years because it sounds so fairy tale like. But imagine a family that's been in business and now is at the top of the heap. And they've had this incredible good fortune for 1,000 years. So, but part of the issue is that there's always been this sort of rumor that they have something a little extra on their side, almost as like a supernatural power. And to a certain extent, you wonder if it's just sour grapes, people complaining, they're just lucky. They're people who their rivals, always seem to falter. Terrible things happen to their competitors, but can they be blamed? And maybe even this whole talk of them having this extra force that seems to protect them is just sort of plausible deniability, It's a really fun family. I mean, they are of Albanian descent, but you've got to think they are super sophisticated. They're like one of the wealthiest families in the world. They live in Manhattan. So they don't really identify as Albanian, but anytime push comes to shove, they always seem to fall back on those Albanian roots and those ties, to the old country and the old ways and the old religion and that sort of thing. So you do get the sense that this family is sort of rooted in something dark and mysterious that can't be known by modern day standards. So Zeph is the head of the family. He's the patriarch, head of the clan, which is just as important as being the CEO of the business. His wife's name is Olga. She was a legendary beauty in Albania, and he promised her the sun, moon, and stars, which he can actually give her, in order to be his wife. And they have 3 children. Dardan, the only son, he's the oldest. Maris is the middle child, and Nora is the youngest.
Okay. And there's some interesting stuff that goes on in the book that we can talk about. That's interesting about each one of them, and we'll get into it here in just a second. I do want to talk a little bit about Zeph and his actual gruffness. He's closed down to a lot of the family, which isn't unusual with a head of business, with someone who owns a business, especially in this case. We get the impression that their business is one that's, would it be safe to say they're top 100 business in the country?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So Zeph is one of those who's extremely closed down to his family, but he's, and not only that, but he's very much old country. Now, he does entertain a lot of his relatives from the old country. Is that right?
Well, they have what's known as a conclave once a year, where anyone in the clan, any family member, can come to Zeph and ask him for what they need, which is usually money. Whether it's for a business opportunity or they've had some terrible run of bad luck and they need some money, but they have to sort of bare their souls to Zeph. And it's almost like a confessional in Catholic Church. It's just the two of them going in there. And so what happens is supposed to be a secret. But what that does is it really serves to keep the family in line and to reinforce, his role as the head of the family and the one who gets to decide. And it kind of cuts down on any objections from the family to anything he wants to do. And you see in the book, after the conclave, how the family at the top, Zeph, Olga, and the children, view the rest of the family. It's not as warm and inclusive as they like to say it is.
Which is absolutely just a fascinating look at, not only cultures, right? As you pointed out, there's supposed to be, a modern American family and not be as old country, old world as they are, but they keep reaching back to those old world roots, and they want to be firmly entrenched and flex that power and show the old country that they truly are, they truly are everything, right? And that they are leaders of the old country, but at the same time, they're completely new school. It's hard to keep one foot in each,
It's interesting. I was just talking to someone about this, and I'm noticing this trend in all my writing, and it probably goes back to my intelligence work, where everything is not as it seems. In this book, these characters are trying to project a certain image of themselves or image of the family or the image of the business. But you see that what's going on behind the scenes is in contradiction to that. Yeah. So, they're ultra modern, ultra rich citizens of the world, and yet they'll fall back on that sort of mysterious, superstitious underpinnings to the family, part of the family myth that's just been with them for 1,000 years. And the other thing about this family you see right away is it's all about power. All of it. The family itself, but the individuals within it, they're all just fighting for power.
I tell you what, we'll take our break here, Alma. When we come back, I want to talk about the children, because the children, it seems like, although Olga is very much in a submissive type role, she does step forward and she has her ways of showing pride in her children. There's that subtle pride there, right?
Right.
It's not the same with Zeph. So when we come back, I want to talk about that dynamic. Okay. And I want to talk about the dynamic between the children when we come back, because that plays a little bit of a role later that people will find out about when they read the book. And boy, folks, I tell you, this book is so fascinating. It's such a good story. And again, there's a lot we're going to leave off the table because you've got to read it for yourself. It is completely a fascinating look at, and there, again, the supernatural element that we can't tell you about that will come in and into play that I can only tell you about, folks, is going to curl your hair. You're going to love it. You're going to love the supernatural element to this book, especially my Darkness Radio listeners. You're going to absolutely love it. Here's the book right here, folks. It's called Fiend, and you're going to want to pick it up. Alma Katsu is our guest. You can pre-order it right now. It comes out September 16th. You can get it at all your fine local booksellers. You can also get it online. We have a link in the description of our program as we speak right now. So when we come back, we'll talk to Alma about the dynamic between the children and Zeph and Olga. That's coming up next, right here on the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. My guest is author Alma Katsu. This is the book right here. It's called Fiend, and it is available September 16th, both at your local booksellers and available online. We have a link in the description of this program so you can pre-order that book. And again, pick it up, pre-order. Get it right now. Have it at your doorstep September 16th. We encourage you to do so. I encourage you to do so. This is a wonderful book. It's absolutely fantastic. You're never gonna see the ending coming. I can tell you that much. You're never gonna see it coming. It's a beautiful twist at the end. My hat's off to you, Alma. That's really a wonderful twist at the end. And I wish I could.
Thank you so much. I loved writing the story. It kind of came to me all at once. And it was just so much fun, so different from other things I've written because it's fast and it's short and, really punchy.
Yeah. So Zeph and Olga have 3 children. And much like many old world country or old country families, not necessarily Albanian, but any old world country family, that you always want plenty of males, right? Because in many old country families, and if you're talking 1,000 years back, you could have the misfortune of maybe losing a few. Mm-hmm. And there's always the, I guess we could say, misogynistic point of view of, we need a male at the head of the family. These days, that's not necessarily true. But in special circumstances that we won't talk about, we'll leave for the book, they particularly need a head of the family for their family, correct?
They do. This has to do with the secret, yep. Which is only shared with the heir. And, once you learn what that secret is, you'll understand why they might have this feeling that they need someone particularly strong and in control to take over as the head of the clan and running the family business. But it is, I wrote that, I had that whole gender issue in there because that's what I grew up with. I grew up in a family that definitely favored the males, so definitely favored my brother. 3 sisters, 1 son. Once they had the son, they stopped having children. It was always very plain. Well, I'm pretty old, so it was very common in my day for that sort of thing to happen. Less common now, but I've been talking to a few folks, and a few folks have pointed out there's still cultures where that prevails. Where maybe they don't favor the males, but they see the males as having very specific roles, and the women as having very specific roles, and you can imagine how frustrating it must be if you feel like that role isn't right for you and you want to cross over. And that's what we come up against. The daughters are both, grew up feeling very constrained and knowing what they were going to have to get into.
Well, I know, for instance, in my family, I hate to call her my baby sister, but my youngest sister, very strong woman and does very well for herself. And she's, now I sound almost like I'm talking down about her, but I'm not. But she's, she's incredibly powerful. And then there's, and I'm incredibly proud of her. I don't even think twice about it. I guess I just don't. So and
that's the way it should be.
Right.
That's good to hear.
And there's nothing awkward about the power dynamic there, right? It's just, and even though she is 11 years my junior, we're right here together, So I don't know. I don't think twice about it.
Well, I think in some ways, this novel, when you see the family and the kind of relationships they all have with each other, whether it's parent to child or among the children, it does represent what I hope for most people is something that's very different. Like readers will come in and they'll feel the tension and the unhappiness right away. And it's attributable to those things. I mean, imagine if you were super, super gifted, and yet you knew there was just no way you were going to be given, control of the family business, because it always goes to the male heir, and you thought the male heir was just not the right person for the job, that didn't have the right instincts, wasn't ruthless enough. That's exactly the situation that Maris feels she's in. She's the right one. And if she can only convince her father, he'll hand the reins over to her, because it makes perfect sense. That's the logical thing. And she underestimates how hard it's going to be to come up against that.
Now, the male in the family, Dardan, has had about 5 years underneath Zeph?
At the business? Yeah.
At the business, yeah. So he's had that direct training. I mean, he's had that daily, day-to-day with Zeph. Mm-hmm. And Zeph, if anything, is incredibly proud, right?
Well, he is. I mean, I don't think you can ever make Zeph truly happy.
Right. As proud as he can be. I mean, he's not beaming with pride and saying, look at my son, but he's saying, this is going to be yours. This is yours.
And Dardan does, kind of take the path that Zeph expects him to. Dardan doesn't ever really, object, want to go a completely different way, go against Zeph's position. I mean, I think anyone who spends any time with Zeph would realize that wasn't going to work. But Dardan is happy to take his father's lead. It's just over time, and at the point where we come in with the Mintham book, he starts to realize that he can't do this, that now he knows what the family secret is. The thing is once they tell you, it's too late. You can never get out. And now you're complicit in everything that you now know the family is responsible for. And, that's overwhelming to him. And he's starting to see, maybe I can't do this.
You alluded a little to Maris, and that she's very much wanting to be her father's daughter. She's very much built like Zeph. She's if anything, she's not a carbon copy, but she's very much she mirrors him in a lot of ways, and mm-hmm. doesn't understand why she can't be at his side, right?
Right. She looks the most like her father. They're a little into eugenics in this family. They're trying to breed the children to be as beautiful and elegant as possible, which makes sense. I mean, just like any monarchy, right? You're not going to try to breed them to be ugly, because you want them to seem like a god on earth. But unfortunately, she's the one who took after her father. So she's not tall and elegant like her mother, who was a fashion model. But she's also got more of Zeph's personality and temperament, but she's also molded herself to be more like Zeph, because ever since she was a child, that's all she wanted. She wanted Zeph's love and approval, like any child wants their parents' love and approval. And she's just tried desperately to get it. But in her mind, what that means is he should see her for who she is, her strengths, and reward that. And that's just not going to happen. So, but she cannot accept that. She can't understand that. And I do think that happens a lot in real life. I mean, we have to remember she's still fairly young. She's just in her early 20s, and she hasn't had that moment yet when she realizes there's just some things you can't have, no matter how bad you want them.
She also thinks the most like her father in terms of business. I know Dardan didn't necessarily, although he went along with his father as far as business philosophy went, maybe he didn't see eye to eye correctly, 100% of the time as far as business philosophy went. The other sibling, Nora, is it, right?
Mm-hmm. Nora's the youngest, yeah.
Is the 180, the exact opposite of both Maris and Dardan. She's the other end of the spectrum, probably more like her mother. Is that easier to say? And probably not even her mother. She's probably the cast off, right? She's the one she's the free range kid. Is that the best way to put it?
Yeah, that might be a great way to put it. I mean, we see in the book why she has the attitude that she does and how she ended up sort of splitting with the rest of the family. But also, we all have our own minds. We are presented with the same facts and we're going to see them in different ways depending on what our goals are. And so Nora sees things differently. But the other two kids sort of have blinders on, especially Maris, and they cannot see something from other people's point of view, right? So they just can't understand why Nora's the way she is. And the mother, Olga, she's a survivor. She married into what she finds out is not the situation she thought it was. But, that's what happens when you get in a relationship like with a classic abuser, right? You just learn how to survive. You develop behavioral mechanisms just so that you can keep your head above water.
Much like there's the dynamic between the children, there's the dynamic of the business, which I find is interesting. And there's kind of a two-headed monster there as well. You've got Zeph, who's taking pictures with dignitaries and has this look of, we're a corporate citizen. We're a good corporate citizen. Meanwhile, you've got lawsuits on the side and you've got bad press, bad publicity. And it seems like it's quite abundant. Is that fair to say? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I mean, so that's something I saw. I worked, like I said, I was a technologist. And even though I worked for the government, we ended up being, fairly close, especially to tech startups and tech companies, which over the 20 years, some of them got to be enormous. Like I remember sitting across the table from the NVIDIA engineers when they first were launching their GPUs. And now look at them. They're, the highest funded, valued, I should say, highest valued company in the world. Nobody thought that was going to happen back then, right? Making video processors for gamers, for video gamers. Yes, I mean, but so I see every company does that, right? They want to put the happy face on the outside. They want to paint themselves as good citizens of the world. You can trust them. They deserve all the success they have. But if you just scratch the surface a little bit, you usually find out that they're mired in lawsuits. And even though their motto may be "don't be evil," they end up doing evil things down the road. It just seems to be the arc that everybody takes, right?
Right.
And that's the same thing at Berisha International.
Yeah, it's interesting, the dualities in this book of the fine moral line of having to ride that fine moral line of, okay, I know I need to be a decent person, not a good person, but a decent person. I have to be a good, corporate citizen. I have to be a good person here. I have to be a good family man. I have to make these choices to get along, but at the same time, I have to be somewhat self-serving. And then here's where the choice is. Here's where the line is. And do I step over it? That comes up quite often.
Yeah. Well, I think with this family, the one thing that that makes them different, right, from other people is that they are equating what's good for them as being good.
Yeah.
Now, I personally think there's probably a lot more people like that in the world than we want to think there is. We want to think that people are making moral choices and they're raised to have a sense of good and bad, and and that they should want to be a good person. But I have to say, I mean, part of the reason why I wrote this book is because it seems like we're back in an age where greed is good, where all people care about is whether or not you have money, and they don't really care how you got there. Whether it's TV or movies or just about any social media, for sure. People project a sense of wealth that they don't have, and lie to cover up what's really going on. Our value system just seems to be sort of turned on its head. And I wanted the Berishas, the family, to just be a blatant example of that.
That's a good way of putting it. The compass has gone a little askew, where it seems like a good moral choice has been confused with just a good choice for me.
Right.
Right. And that should be good enough. That's my idea of a good moral choice is a good choice for me. If it works for me, it's good morally. Right.
Right.
And
what's the right thing to do? Oh, what's good for me? That's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And that doesn't really wash. Because
well, it depends on the situation, right? I mean, so before I was doing technology, one of the things I did, like I said, I did a lot of operations other than war. So a lot of that was humanitarian, peacekeeping, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And you would see it like if it was you were going to be killed or your neighbor was going to be killed, what is your duty, right? Do you save yourself or do you save your neighbor? You know, do you get your family to safety, hide them away from the, the neighbor next door who wants to kill you? I mean, that's what you see a lot in genocides, right? It's right. Population is turned against the minority or something. So, your neighbors are coming up the road with machetes and they want to kill you. Do you try to save the elderly neighbors in the house next to you, or is your obligation to your family? So I know these decisions can be difficult to make, but especially in this country, we're not often forced to make that kind of decision. It's just more, do I make more profit for myself, even if it harms my neighbor? I'm sad to say that it seems like in this day, most people will go with the profit.
Well, I'm gonna make it a little more I'm going to make it a little more savory here. Is it the more vapid the decision, the easier it is for people to make? Is that a good way of putting it?
Well, probably, yeah. I mean, if it's something that's not going to cause them too much distress, then it's easy to say, sure, I'll make the profit. What difference does it make? The sad thing is that I think more and more we're all being asked to make ethical decisions or moral decisions on things that, that should be very clear. But because we've so conditioned ourselves to say yes to, what's the word I'm looking for? Profiting ourselves, that it's just easy to say, to not make the right choice, to not make the moral choice. We like to think we would, but I mean, more and more in this day and age, that's not what's happening.
Is it the salve, Alma, of, well, everybody else would do it anyways, too? I mean, they'd make that decision, too, so why can't I?
Oh, absolutely. That's part of the equation. The rationalization, why it's okay to do the wrong thing. And you see that all over the place in this book. But hopefully by reading and seeing these people make bad choices, and it's so obvious to you as the reader that these are bad choices, that it'll make people think twice when they're asked to make a bad choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's such a good story, and the subtle lessons that are being shown here too are frightening. I mean, they're absolutely frightening when you see people go down those roads and you're like, don't do it. You see it being repeated over and over and over again. And you just, it's
you wonder, how can a person do that? They know that they're being evil, and yet they're going to do it, and they're going to justify it to themselves. Unfortunately, I sort of feel like that's the world we live in these days.
Yeah.
What is it going to take to wake people up? That's part of it too. I mean, the story was loosely inspired by, the Sackler case. Mm-hmm. Once you know something about what the family did and how they conspired really to deceive the government and the population and all that stuff. It just, and yet still there's parts of the public that don't want to believe that the Sacklers did such a bad thing, right? I mean, I know that the case is still out to a degree, but as it stands right now, no one in the family is going to face jail time. And while they do have to, pay some fees and stuff, it's not it's not devastating to the family, right?
No.
They're still going to be able to go on and fund their museums and libraries and that sort of thing, which, by the way, we call reputation management. But, so this book was just sort of like a wake-up call. What does it take for people to say what they are seeing right before their eyes? This person is evil. This person is self-enriching themselves at the expense of other people. How do you get people to wake up?
Well, as we start to wrap up today, Alma, let me ask you that question. I mean, you having worked for these organizations within government, what do you see on a daily basis that you think makes people wake up?
Oh, that is such a hard question. I don't know at this point. I don't know. In government, and I know some people don't believe it because it's one of the more popular stories that's going around, the deep state and all that kind of stuff. But especially in the intelligence community, people really did believe in the Constitution and to uphold the law. Civil servants were told many things you cannot do as a civil servant. You can't take bribes. You couldn't accept a gift over $5. So we knew where the line was. And having people who, being ethical, being moral is enforced in them helps keep the society strong. When that's taken away and the incentive is now to lie, cheat, and steal, that makes the society weak. I don't know how we're going to get it back on track. We have to start valuing truth and justice again.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. You're absolutely right. Well, folks, this is the book right here. And again, we have a link in the description of this program, so you can go ahead and pre-order it. I highly encourage you to do so because it is a wonderful story. It's called Fiend. And Alma Katsu is our guest and the author of this wonderful book. Again, it comes out September 16th. And I highly encourage you to pre-order. You can get it at your fine booksellers everywhere. And, of course, you can get it online right now by clicking on the link in the description of this program. Alma, I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I know I got a little soapboxy.
No.
A little ranty, but really the story is still fun too.
Yes,
I mean, it shows bad people behaving badly, and who doesn't like that? Yes,
it does. And it has, again, a surprise ending you're never going to see coming. And you're going to love the ending. I guarantee you're going to love the ending. You're going to love, and again, for my Darkness Radio listeners, you're going to love the supernatural twist in this book. I'll guarantee that as well. You're going to love that as well. So it's time now for us to lighten things up a little bit. Let's bring in Jessica Freeberg. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again, the time you've all been looking forward to. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals. And with that, I need a co-hostess. So and not hostess as in like the Hostess fruit pies, because those are delicious. I remember those in the back of comic books. And by gosh, I remember picking up a comic book, looking at the back of a comic book and seeing which superhero was hawking pies that week. And I hated it when it was the Falcon, because the Falcon always showed up without Captain America. And I always wanted Captain America and the Falcon because they're a team. And you got to have a team because the team concept is always better than just a single guy hawking pies. And you want a team concept. You want two people hawking pies. And so this time here on Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals, you're going to have a team hawking stories instead of just one person, because one person hawking stories is, well, it's boring. You just don't want me to ramble on like I'm doing right now. You want me to bring in a co-hostess, so I'm going to do that. So I'll bring her in right now. She's witty, she's intelligent, she's funny, and by gosh, she's easy on the eyes, and she's the fear. She brings the fear into everybody that's east of the Poconos, who's putting together literary charts everywhere. Because let me tell you, folks, she's got not one, not two, but not three, not four, but four books that are burning up the charts, the literary charts. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Jessica Freeberg. Hi, Jess. How you doing?
Hey, setting those charts on fire, Tim.
That's right. Speaking of charts, and I still have been, I'm horrible about doing this, but you were gracious enough to do this. You mentioned that we're on a chart here at Darkness Radio.
Yes, I'm so excited and proud.
And I appreciate that. I'm a horrible webmaster, social media master. I'm a master of none of those traits. Let me pull it up here. I'm trying to remember what the name of the chart was to begin with.
I just remember it said in the picture. So we were number 3, right?
Yes,
number 3, and in the picture
3.
it says on the planet, and I'm like, on the planet? Heck yeah!
Heck yeah! It is. Well, actually, it's the up. It's supposed to be. I think the chart is actually up and coming podcasts or something like that, or podcasts you need to listen to for 2025
yes, that's what it was. Podcast
yeah.
You need to listen to.
Yeah. But it does say on the header for its top paranormal podcast on the planet. So
on the planet. So I'll take that. So hey, I'm not going to be happy till we're number 1 in the universe.
Oh, hey, that's the attitude.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's the attitude to have, right? So yeah, hey, I'll take that too. But yeah,
but look at that. I was so excited. I saw that and I was like, wow, go Team Darkness.
Right.
And all of our listeners, thank you guys.
Yes, absolutely. Thank. Here it is. I pulled it right off your page. So Feed Spot is the chart that's ranking it, and over 62,000 total views of this chart. So we're not worthy. I'll tell you that much right now. The only other podcast ahead of us, Real Ghost Stories Online, and Last Podcast on the Left. Otherwise, everybody else is sucking our fumes.
Eating our dust.
So I almost never take an attitude, so I think that's kind of funny to say.
No, but we should feel good. You put a lot of work in, Tim. You're a great leader of this team, and all of us co-hosts, we just have so much fun co-hosting with you, and it's a blast, and you do a lot of good things. You make a lot of people laugh, bring a lot of joy into the world.
That didn't sound forced at all. I appreciate that, Jess. Yep. And you read
Did I read that correctly?
You read that script correctly. Thank you. I appreciate you hitting that on the first try. So appreciate that.
No, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You're amazing.
I won't have to edit that and post at all. So that's great.
And you know what's funny? We're Darkness Radio, but I think we bring so much light and happiness into the world.
I hope so. That's the idea, right?
That's what I hear. That's what I hear from our friends who listen and send us messages. So
yeah. I hope so. I hope, I do hear that from a lot of people, that it makes their day. They're laughing along at either at work or on their way to work or they're in their garage or wherever they are. They're having a good time. So that's good. That's the aim, that they're having a good time. So speaking of having a good time, boy, we got stories. Okay, even though people are having a good time, I'm going to piss off some Packer fans right away. It's football season. We're into it now, right?
Yeah.
And it's friendly competition. Although they did very well on Sunday, and thank you Packer fans for knocking off the Lions, for showing them exactly where their place is, and that will be last place this year in the NFC North if the Bears aren't there first, which by the time you listen to this, hopefully J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings have put the Bears back in their place, which should be last place in the NFC North. Again, I'm just putting it out there to the universe, right? That the Packers and Vikings are tied for first in the NFC North by the time you hear this.
That would be good. Manifest it, Tim.
I'm manifesting like there's no tomorrow, Jess. You can tell I got my purple on if you're watching video and everything.
Right.
But there is one Packer out there choking, Jess.
Who's that?
A former Packers QB is out there choking like there's no tomorrow. Former Packers QB is cited after allegedly choking a bartender in Eau Claire, Wisconsin over the weekend.
No, he's really choking.
He's really choking, for real. That's right.
No.
In fact, we have a little. In fact, he, much like his former career, couldn't grip properly. Evidently, there's the grip mark right there.
Yeah, he left a mark. That's for sure.
He did leave a mark, just a tiny one. Evidently, laces out, kid, laces out. A former Green Bay Packers quarterback was cited for disorderly conduct in Eau Claire after an alleged bar disturbance on Water Street. That's right, according to the incident report. First of all, okay, so I'm not going to give you the quarterback yet. The former, do you know your, first of all, we're going to play a little game here, Jess. Do you know your former Green Bay Packer quarterbacks, living or dead, and which one would choke a bartender on Water Street? We'll play this game. Do you have a guess as to which former Green Bay Packer quarterback would be in Eau Claire choking a bartender?
Okay, well, full admission, I don't know any names.
Okay, good. See, okay, so we're being honest. We're being honest. Now, I pretty much nailed it on the first try. I knew, I thought in...
You just knew.
I knew before I even opened the story, I went, I know who this is.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't shock me. But I'm gonna reveal it to our audience now and just have them go, oh, of course. They probably know already because it's probably huge news in Wisconsin.
I'm sure. This
is probably the huge letdown. But for the rest of the nation, they may go, who? But then after that, they may go, oh, yeah, I remember him. According to the incident report, police were called to Brothers Bar around 11 p.m. on August 29th for an undesirable person. That's how we called them here in Minnesota when we were sacking them left and right. The caller said a man refused to leave the bar after choking an employee. Officers spoke with the man, identified as the Magic Man, Don Makowski. Oh, Don Makowski.
Was he kind of like that when he played? Was he kind of ornery?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of an attitude, yeah. Old Don Makowski was outside the bar. He told police that he was jumped because boyfriends of the girls at the bar were jealous of him because he was a former NFL player. I think he took that a little far.
Are we buying that story, Tim?
No, we're not. I think maybe he was a big a-hole at the bar. That's why they were jumping him. Yeah, I think they had enough of the Magic Man.
Yeah.
They were mopping up the floor with him. That's probably the reason why. When a bartender tried to break up the fight, he said Makowski grabbed his throat. A picture with the police report shows red marks on the bartender's neck after the incident. They're not very red, so I don't know how much of a grip he had. He didn't have like Baron von Raschke claw marks. Like it wasn't a strong grip.
No, it's not. It didn't like leave bruises or anything.
No, it was more like a, those little dolls that have like the little battery operated grip, like the little baby dolls, mama. Like
but you're saying he has weak hands.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Maybe
a little baby grip. Yeah. Police cited Makowski for disorderly conduct. They also noted he was extremely intoxicated and was unable to unlock his phone to contact his Uber. So if he had a hard time unlocking the phone, he's probably got a little baby grip, right? He couldn't choke the bartender, couldn't unlock the phone, right?
He just doesn't have all his faculties at the moment. Well, sounds like.
Okay, that's your story. Mine is that he's having a little problem just with grip in general. Police drove Makowski to the Best Western, the place where all fine former Green Bay Packers quarterbacks stay, where he told officers, of course, that's where he was staying. He's like, officers, do you know who I am? And do you know where I'm staying? They're like, the Marriott? And he went, no, the Best Western. And they went, life's been good, huh?
He doesn't always have to have a 5-star hotel.
Sure. He's one step up from the red roof, Jess. He's doing well.
Motel, is it Motel 8 or Motel 6? They leave the light on.
Yeah. He's 2 steps down from the place that Travis and I are opening called the Trailer Park 6. So yeah. I'll
stay there.
You'd stay there? Yeah, the Trailer Park 6.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Well, a little bit. Yeah. He was staying at the Best Western where he told officers, that's where he was laying his head that night. Police were later called back because Mikowski did not have a room there. So even though he said he was staying there, that's not where he was laying his head. No. He was staying at the other Best Western. I don't know what other Best Western there is in town, but in Eau Claire, but he was staying at the other one.
A nicer one, Tim. He's staying at the higher class Best Western across town, other side of the tracks.
I think it was probably the Roach Motel. No. Mikowski played for the Packers from 1987 to 1992. Of course, he was known as the Magic Man. Okay.
That was a while ago, so he's not a spring chicken.
No.
Yeah.
In 1989, he became the first Packers quarterback selected to the Pro Bowl since Bart Starr. The disorderly conduct citation, by the way, probably a lot more expensive than his room.
How much?
$213.10.
Definitely more expensive than his room.
If he's staying at the Best Western, chances are he can't afford that fine.
No.
So look for the GoFundMe for Magic Man to pay his fine. That's my guess. You know what I'm guessing, Jess, he drove away in? From the scene of the crime? The choking
what
there?
Do you think?
Probably in a child-sized pink Barbie Jeep, which is the subject of our next story.
What?
Yep. I just imagine that Magic Man probably piled into his child-sized pink Barbie Jeep and drove away from cops.
I mean, I can see it. I like the visual. It makes me happy.
Yeah, it makes me happy too. I know that one man in Prince George, British Columbia was arrested for driving a child-sized pink Barbie Jeep. You may say,
wow.
Well, how would he get arrested, Tim, for that? Well, it's because it didn't have a license.
How would he get in it is my first question.
Oh, I'll show you.
How would a grown man fit?
Not very well. This is him right here, Jeff. There he is.
Oh my God.
he barely got in it, but he's in it.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to be able to get out. I'd be stuck in there.
Well, I bet you he brought some mayo to kind of help grease himself up and get out.
Grease him up and pull him out.
That's right. He did get in it, though. That's for sure. Driving any motorized vehicle without a license is against the law, according to police there in British Columbia. A Prince George man was pulled over by police after driving a child-sized pink toy Barbie Jeep along one of the main roads in the north central British Columbia city on September 5th. That's right. He took off and kept going at 5 miles an hour. And on a day that included a hit and run involving an ambulance and a prominent downtown business being destroyed by fire, photos and videos of the Barbie Jeep quickly spread online with a mixture of humor and disbelief. Photos captured by several witnesses show Casper Lincoln, that's his name, folks, don't wear it out, wearing aviator sunglasses and cruising down 15th Avenue near Nicholson Street, one of the main thoroughfares. Speaking to CBC News, Lincoln said he was getting ready to go get a Slurpee with a friend and got lazy.
Could walk faster.
5-year-old goals, you know. And decided to borrow his roommate's child. Let me try that again. I'm so weirded out by this story, I can't read it. And decided to borrow his roommate's child's tiny car to get around. You read that right. I read that right. We all read that right. As his friend walked alongside him. So his friend walked alongside him to go to the store. He drove the tiny little car to go get a Slurpee.
And his friend probably had to pause and wait. Like, that car does not move fast. My kids had a little Hummer like that when they were little. And let me tell you, it was not a rocket. It was not a speed racer.
He said while laughing, "I never drove it before." I got to think with that much weight behind it, it probably didn't move fast at all.
Right.
I mean, it's used to 30 or 40 pounds, not, 240 pounds. In the images, Lincoln is seen driving near the side of the road that's been closed for construction before turning onto an open side road. Then an unmarked police cruiser pulls him over and he's arrested. Some onlookers were in disbelief. "You're really arresting him for driving a kid's Jeep?" asked Summer Karen, one of the people who filmed the man being put in handcuffs. Oh, and we're back, right? Okay. Let me mark the time. Hold on. "You're really arresting him for driving a kid's Jeep?" asked Summer Karen, one of the people to film the man being put in handcuffs. She told CBC News that Lincoln had been driving close to the curb and going maybe 3 miles per hour. Well, you would think, 5 miles per hour, probably with a kid in it. Yeah, 3 miles per hour would be about right.
Yeah. Max speed.
Max speed. Nikita Morgan saw part of the incident as she drove in the open lane beside him. "I was cruising down the street, right?" she said in a Facebook message to CBC News. "And this undercover unmarked police vehicle is behind me." Oh, it was an undercover. "So I roll my window down and say, 'Don't let him catch you riding dirty.'" A reference to a phrase popularized by the 2005 Chameleonaire song, "Ridin'," that refers to driving while taking part in an illegal activity.
My goodness.
Yep. She was surprised the police got involved, saying the driver of the little car appeared to be playing it safe. Oh my God, here's a better picture of him driving. Look at this, Jess. Look at that picture right there.
Oh my God. Funniest thing. It honestly looks like the car is like pushed down to the ground. Like the wheels can't bear the weight.
He's smushing it as far down as it'll go. This idiot.
Have you no dignity, sir?
"He didn't look like he was speeding to me," another person yelled at the cops. The RCMP say they pulled Lincoln over for a traffic stop and in the course of talking to him, found he had a suspended license and believed he was inebriated.
Oh my gosh, he's driving a Barbie Jeep without a license.
Yep. And he might be
drunk driving.
He might be a little schnockered too. It was later verified by 2 breath analysis tests that he was buzzed. Can you imagine getting out of your little Barbie Jeep and having to blow into a breathalyzer?
I wish that I could have seen this happen in real life.
That's amazing. Lincoln also said the police told him that they had received multiple calls about him and told him he'd been driving in the middle of the road, which he denied, saying that for the majority of his journey, he had been driving on the sidewalk until he saw a blocked off lane.
So he had to go in the street. It wasn't his fault.
Right, yeah. None of that information was available to onlookers like Andrea Sturgard, a mail carrier who was leaving a nearby Canada post office, who was with her coworkers when they saw the Barbie Jeep coming toward them. "We were just kind of watching him, living his best life," she said of Lincoln. "He was just happy as a clam. We were actually kind of jealous."
It is kind of adorable.
It is, isn't it? The police action, she said, seemed like a bit of overkill, but that's just me. "It was honestly epic. I give the guy 10 stars. Several memes poking fun at the incident have been created and shared on social media, including one depicting the day's event in the style of the Grand Theft Auto video game. Oh, that's too much now. There's a picture of Grand Theft Auto Prince George, and it's a picture of the video game cover. That guy.
Oh, funny.
Speeding down the road. His little. Oh, look at that. There's a picture of the undercover lighting him up.
That is the funniest thing I've seen in a while.
That's too much. Well, look at that. See, you can get popped for driving a Barbie car down the road in British Columbia.
And never drink and drive.
And never drink. Right. Let's keep it sober out there, folks.
That's right.
And please stick.
If you're going to drive a Barbie Dream Jeep, drive it sober.
That's right. And
no matter how old you are.
And stick to the sidewalks.
Yeah.
That's right, folks. Don't take it out into regular traffic. You don't have a license plate on that thing. That's right. Well, Jess, I don't know how to tell you this, but there once was a man in Nantucket, and the blow was so good that he could. We're not safe for work territory yet, so I can't finish that limerick. But it's true. Cocaine levels are 50% above the U.S. average in the rich and famous hotspot of Nantucket.
Really?
You know how we know this?
How?
We're going through their raw sewage.
We are not icky.
Yeah, that's how we know. Yeah. Evidently their shit is very rich.
Full of drugs.
It's full of coke. The shit.
I wonder if you could get high from it the second time around. You know.
Ew, that's.
I know. It's disgusting. I'm just saying.
Right.
So if there's a bunch of poo out there with drugs in it, is it still
evidently
usable?
Would the dogs know? I don't know.
All the animals getting high.
Yeah. The results based on testing carried out over 6 weeks between June 18th and July 28th also detected traces of fentanyl, methamphetamine, and xylazine. That's a new one. Along with
I don't know that one.
prescription opioids, including cocaine, morphine, and oxycodone. Boy, Nantucket is a rockin' town, isn't it?
Yeah. But is this normal? Do all communities test our waste?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they figure out COVID levels too.
I'm fascinated by that. What a job.
Yeah, that's what waste treatment centers do. Yep.
They test it for disease and drugs.
Yep. Fentanyl and methamphetamine levels were lower than the national average and the average for the Northeast, according to results. See, they know. Big Brother's in yo shit. And that's literal.
For real.
For real. Faux show. Nantucket Island has long been known as a summer playground for the rich and famous. Among its wealthy residents are Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy, actor Ben Stiller, and former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, who probably have all partied together at one time or another. That's my guess.
Yeah, I would if I was them.
Yeah. Experts say further testing will be carried out in the winter when the island typically empties out of its rich and famous summer visitors. So we'll see if, I don't know, someone like Katharine Hepburn is up there doing coke. Who knows? I think it's interesting that cocaine was so high, and I was surprised fentanyl was so low because fentanyl is in everything. I thought fentanyl would be higher. Dr. Timothy Lepore, the founder of Addiction Solutions of Nantucket, told the Boston Globe. I do the accent, but it's horrible. So you don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but do you suppose that rich people get like really good cocaine, and so it's not laced with anything because they just get the more expensive stuff?
Well, everything is stepped on. I mean, you can't do 100% coke. You die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything is stepped on a certain amount of times. I only know this because my stepdad was like one of the big dealers back in the day in the 70s.
Oh, I thought you were going to say testers. You could have just said tester, Tim, and we would have all been like, "Oh, cool."
No, you know the American Gangster movie with Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. He worked for that drug dealer.
Stop.
Yeah, he did. He dealt blue magic, but
so everything has something in it. What is it? Always fentanyl that they.
Everything's stepped on, so everything is cut. Everything's cut down.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, with coke's really cut down. You don't want to know what coke is cut down with. It's really gross. Laxative and baby stuff, and yeah, it's really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that baking soda and baking powder, and yeah, it gets cut down with everything.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it gets stepped on a bunch of times. Now you can test it. Everyone's got a chemical tester, right? So if even drug dealers have little chemical testers, and you can, that whole thing about rubbing it on your gums. That's a Hollywood thing. Nobody ever rubs it on their gums. You die. But you have a little chemical tester that shows you how pure it actually is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So you can actually find out, how pure, and the cops have chemical testers too to find out how pure something is. And a lot of times the stuff you get on the street is, between, I don't know, 50 to 70% or something like that pure. It's not ever pure cocaine, but yeah. But it's got a bunch of stuff mixed in it.
Well, you learned something new today.
Yeah. So there's never, but the stuff in the, there's like I'm getting off topic here, but crack rock is coke and different additives congealed together to make rock. So, and it's a cheaper form of cocaine, a really cheap form of cocaine, because there's only a scant amount of cocaine in crack rock.
Interesting.
Yeah. Chemistry lesson today.
Yeah, it's like science, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. And meth is almost all garbage. It's all battery acids and
right
and pseudoephedrine, and that's why when you go to a pharmacy, they ask you for identification when you go to get Sudafed or antihistamines or whatever, because that's one of the key ingredients in meth. So, yeah. But it's only a tiny ingredient. There's a bunch of other things that a bunch of other household chemicals you use to make.
There's a potpourri of trash you put in your body.
Yeah, and it's all toxic. Yeah. In fact, they have to close down a meth cooking site for almost a year, 2 years, because it's that toxic.
Wow. I literally can't imagine putting that stuff in my body on purpose.
Well, some people claim the high is amazing. That's why. But yeah. So back in Nantucket, they're waiting for the winter to see if the disposable income, because the large amounts of disposable income will leave the island, whether the drugs in the system will actually change.
What do you think? I think it might. I bet there's less when the celebs are away.
They're thinking less coke in the water, more fentanyl in the water at that point. The samples of sewage are collected from the Surfside Wastewater Treatment Facility, which serves about 70% of Nantucket Island's roughly 14,000 residents. Samples are then analyzed by Cambridge-based startup BioBot Analytics, which was founded at MIT. But like here in Minneapolis, in fact, where we get all our COVID numbers from something similar to this. They were the ones that tell us basically how when we were in the pandemic and then coming out of the pandemic, we were told exactly how many people had COVID and what strains were going around the Twin Cities based on a technology similar to this.
Very interesting.
Yeah, all done through wastewater. So it's incredibly interesting how you can. But they do that with the drug epidemic too. They can tell you exactly what drugs are going through the community. This exact technology.
I'm curious about the sewage in my community. I wonder what drugs we have in there. Is there like a public report?
It might be available through, if you go to the city council and talk to them about it. Well, either the city council or county board. It's probably the county board that does it, because it's probably a bigger project, depending on the, I don't know, check with your city first and see if they do something like that. If the city doesn't do it, depending on the size of your city, then the county would do it. The county would be in charge of that. But if your county does your wastewater treatment, then the county would have that information. If the city does it, then the city would do it. But yeah, it's all very interesting.
Story.
Yeah. So interesting indeed. Our next story is an odd one. Bizarre and kind of violent. I'm not going to lie. A woman accidentally went to the wrong house And the resident shot her 17 times and then had the gall to explain why. Now,
17 times. That's outrageous.
right. Now, I don't know if you heard about last week about the Ding Dong Ditch shooter.
Yes, I did. That's
Right.
so sad.
Right. And incredibly bizarre. This shooter is somewhat similar. 50-year-old Roman Rowicki was arrested last week on charges of attempted murder, false imprisonment, criminal mischief, battery, and discharging a firearm on a residential property. Of course, we're going to Florida for this, Jess. According to his arrest affidavit, a woman told police she was following an acquaintance home for the first time when she got lost and ended up at Rowicki's house in Palm Bay, which is about 75 miles southeast of Orlando, Florida. The woman said she walked up the driveway and realized she was at the wrong address, at which point she claimed Rowicki grabbed her arm and wrist, restraining her by holding her arm behind her back in an arm lock against her will. That according to the affidavit. The woman, identified as TP in the affidavit, was able to call the person identified as WP, whom she had been following, according to the affidavit, which says WP ran to her aid. Rowicki then threw the woman to the ground and retrieved a firearm that he had fired multiple times in the direction of the two individuals who had just gotten into the woman's vehicle, the affidavit alleges. They told police that the vehicle was hit multiple times. According to the report, a total of 17 shell casings were found in front of the home. So they managed to escape his grasp, get into the vehicle, and he fired 17 shots at her and the guy that she was with. Rowicki told police that he believed the woman was a sex worker and that he attacked her out of fear of his wife's safety. Police said they recovered video footage that showed the woman approaching the residence in a non-threatening manner before the attack. Rowicki called 911 on a recorded line and confirmed that he was the shooter and said that he has a no soliciting sign and that he understood the woman had gone to his house mistakenly. The woman's arm and wrist were bruised as a result of the physical altercation, and her bracelet was broken off, police said. One of the tires went flat in addition to other damage to her vehicle. Rowicki was released on bond on Wednesday. He was ordered not to have contact with the two individuals and cannot have any firearms, weapons, or ammunition per the terms of his release. Rowicki could not be reached on a cell phone number listed for him. His attorney did not immediately return a phone call or reply to an email seeking comment. I'll tell you this much. Here's a picture of Mr. Rowicki. If looks could kill, I think he would be deemed unhinged.
Yeah, he looks angry.
Yeah, he looks like he has some issues. That's for sure.
Clearly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's, he looks like you said, he looks like he has some anger management issues.
I mean, even if she was a sex worker, a simple no thank you would do.
Right. I mean, and to say, well, I'm defending my wife. You're defending your wife from what?
A sex worker?
Yeah, who's walking up.
I don't understand.
She's walking up your driveway. What's that have to do with the price of tea in China, right?
Yeah, shut the door. Say no thanks. Go away. No soliciting.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes no sense. Another bizarre scam that's out there that was brought to our attention by Tony. Thank you, Tony, for sending in the story. A bizarre ultrasound photo scam is targeting unsuspecting men at the risk of being extorted in a pregnancy fraud. This is a bizarre story. Think buying a photo of someone else's unborn baby is weird?
A little.
A little, right? That's because it is. But it was recently possible on the Marketplace app from Japanese e-commerce company Mercari.
Weird.
You could do that.
Oh my gosh.
Now Mercari has pulled the plug on selling ultrasound shots, which once sold online for around $14, according to ex-users.
It's pretty cheap.
It is cheap for an ultrasound shot, yeah.
But there's nothing you could do with it that would not be bad. Like, there's no
Right.
reason for that unless you're going to do something bad with it.
Right. You only have ill intentions buying somebody else's ultrasound shot. Bowing to those worried about how strangers were snapping up prenatal pics. The ban hit after a viral X post exposed Mercari listings hawking ultrasound images and photos of positive pregnancy tests. User @awakened_citizen blasted the bizarre trend, writing, "Why are things like pregnancy ultrasound photos or positive pregnancy tests being listed on Mercari?" Right?
Yeah, that's shady.
Fellow concerned X users weighed in, with some speculating that the photos would be used for sinister and manipulative reasons. It seems like they're going to use it for some shady stuff, one theorized, adding, like, "I'm pregnant with your child" type of thing, you know? Someone else replied, "Is it for threatening my boyfriend?" Another appalled person noted, "That's creepy, using it for scams or for getting a divorce. How effing rock bottom of an idea is that?"
Yeah. And that's really the only reason you would buy it. There is no good reason.
Yeah. One other asked, clearly before the ban of selling these images was enacted, this kind of thing should be subject to regulation, right? I don't even know why you'd regulate it. Just ban it. According to a Reddit post in r/offbeat, one user explained that the idea of a woman committing pregnancy fraud in Japan is called Ninshin Sagi. In a recent post, they further clarified that this is the act of a woman pretending to be pregnant in order to extort money from a man that they had sex with. Interesting theory. Plenty on X and Reddit are betting that the selling of these ultrasound snaps and positive test pics are just a scam for a cash grab. And many moms who have been there can't imagine any other reason for putting them on the market. Mercari didn't explain further, but as of September 1st, ultrasound photos are officially banned on the marketplace, as per Sora News 24. As the New York Post reported last year, the innocent act of posting pregnancy pics and ultrasounds online can put babies at risk of ID theft, digital kidnapping, and other dangers, a 2024 study warned. Uploading bump pics and ultrasound unveilings might seem cute and wholesome, but experts stress that sharenting, not parenting, but sharenting, can make babies prime targets for digital thieves before the bun even leaves the oven. Even when they post about their pregnancy or anticipating the birth of the child, they give away identifying data, lead researcher Valeska Berg explained. And that creates a digital identity even before the child is born. Data experts from Australia's Edith Cowan University added that the creation of a child's digital identity can start with parents sharing information about their soon-to-be-born or newly born child on social networking sites. The clinicians noted that digital kidnappers are defined as people who steal a child's identity and photo on social media and pass the child off as their own. It's one of the risks of creating digital identities for children by sharing images, especially those that include personal information about the child and reveal the child's face. Ultimately, from womb to web, sharing ultrasounds might seem cute until scammers see dollar signs in your baby bump. You know, my nephew and his wife just had their baby over the weekend.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. And I know I probably just committed a faux pas there. We were supposed to keep things kind of hush.
Yeah.
And we weren't supposed to announce on social media or anything like that. And they didn't want us to post pictures, which we didn't. We didn't post any pictures. But we were amongst the family in a closed group. We're given a few pictures to look at. And it's sad when you can't share, you can't share your joy with the world, and just say, here's this new little one, right? I mean, we didn't even share the name. But you can't just say, you can't be happy and say, here's this new little one, right? Because you're afraid of different creeps that are out there in the world and what could potentially happen. So
It's crazy what can be done with, images now and with AI, and it's just kind of scary.
yeah,
So I understand. I think that's a good choice on their part.
yeah, yeah. They wanted to keep everything pretty close to the vest. So, and out of respect for them, that's what we've done. So, yeah, it's a new world out there, Jess. That's for sure. That's for sure. Let's see here. We've got 2 more stories and then not safe for work stuff. This is a bizarre story. Speaking of not being able to keep kids safe, here's an interesting story. A man in a puppy costume strangled a young child.
What?
Yeah. The employee was collared.
That's the worst.
And this is taking place in Florida. The employee was collared outside the Sunshine State Canine Emporium. Of all places. A 46-year-old employee was wearing an inflatable dog costume outside a Florida puppy store, allegedly strangled a bike-riding juvenile with whom he had an ongoing dispute. This is just bizarre. Here's a picture of the guy right here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's what he was wearing when he strangled him?
Yeah. Rodney Plathy, who works at Sunshine Puppies in Clearwater, was outside the business early Friday evening when multiple juveniles rode by on bicycles. At the time, Plathy, who's a registered sex offender, was wearing a puppy suit costume. The business is adjacent to a busy roadway, and the costume worker is a sign spinner and serves to attract the attention of passing motorists. Investigators allege that Plathy, who had previously tangled with the young riders, waved the juveniles over to him. Plathy was joined outside by the puppy store proprietor. As the owner was addressing the group, one of the juveniles sought to ride away. As the owner grabbed the bike's handlebars to prevent a collision with himself, Plathy approached the victim from behind and placed him in a chokehold. Bizarre. The male victim, whose age is not listed in court records, told police he was unable to breathe for a period of time until the defendant released him seconds later. Officers were then contacted. Plathy was arrested for battery by strangulation, which is a felony. The defendant, according to an arrest affidavit, showed an indication of alcohol influence and refused to speak with cops. After 2 days in the county jail, Plathy was freed upon posting $10,000 bond. A judge has ordered him to have no contact with the victim. Plathy has an extensive criminal record with multiple battery convictions, as well as convictions for burglary and drug possession. He spent 6 years in prison for a 2013 sexual battery case that resulted in his designation as a sex offender. Plathy returned to state custody in 2022 and spent about 30 months behind bars before being released last October. Bizarre story. It's
scary.
Yeah.
Scary for that kid.
Yeah, very much so.
It just furthers my fear of those anyone in a costume like that. Every time the kids would go sit on the Easter Bunny's lap, or even Santa, I'm always like, what kind of a creep is in there?
Well, not everybody who dresses in costume is a creep, but yeah, there can be some. There could be someone shady under that costume, that's for sure.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Hey. I'm a former Chucky. Come on now.
You just illustrated my point, Tim.
Wow. Come on now, Jess. Not all people under costumes are creeps.
I know.
Some of us are just trying to make a living. You know?
Yeah, probably. Not a pedophile,
That's right.
pretending to be the Easter Bunny. Just someone trying to make some money.
That's right.
That's what I would tell myself every time we went. Just the Easter Bunny. Definitely not a pedophile.
That's right. Although he is holding that carrot kind of weird.
It's pretty excited for my kids to sit on his lap. I don't know.
He's pretty excited about being around kids. And our last story before Not Safe for Work today. Again, we're going to Florida. Florida is an odd state.
We're spending a lot of time in Florida.
Yeah, it needs to secede from the nation, I think. Imagine this, if you would. Your kids are outside, And most of the time they're outside in the summertime. They're what, Jess? They're probably without shoes, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's natural.
Barefoot and having a blast.
What if I told you you could be picked up for having your kids outside barefoot and put in jail?
What?
Yeah. No shoes, no shirt, you're going to jail.
Even in your yard?
Yeah.
What?
A $1 bond was set for an aunt accused of neglect after kids were found barefoot in North Miami.
That's crazy. I used to pride myself on how calloused my feet would be at the end of the summer, and I could like run over the rocks. You know, you start the summer and you walk on them and it hurts a little bit. By the end of the summer, your feet are so tough from being barefoot all summer that you can run a marathon on rocks.
Yeah. Well, that'd be a whole lot of $1 bonds for your parents. That's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my parents would have been in trouble for a lot of things out on the farm, let me tell you.
We go to North Miami, where 2 young children were found wandering barefoot near a roadway in North Miami this week, and their aunt is now facing child neglect charges after police say she left them alone for at least 2 hours. Now imagine us as kids, Jess. 2 hours was nothing.
No.
That was barely half an afternoon.
And how old were the kids?
Well, let's
Did you
see
say?
here. I haven't said yet. Officers with the North Miami Police Department say they responded Monday afternoon after receiving a call that the children had been spotted walking near a building with no shoes and cuts on their feet. Well, see, they haven't been out there long enough without shoes.
No, it's just the beginning of summer then. You know, by the end of summer, no pets.
That's right. Authorities confirmed that the children's aunt, 31-year-old near Louise Lazaire, was later arrested and booked into a jail on a charge of child neglect. In her mugshot, she appeared teary-eyed. In bond court on Wednesday, Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Mindy Glazer set her bond at just $1, drawing attention in the courtroom. Yes, $1, Glazer said during the hearing. Lazaire is also being held on an immigration detainer, according to jail records. Glazer said that Lazaire claimed her 14-year-old son was supposed to be supervising both of the children, but fell asleep on the day of the incident. Police say the children were not seriously hurt and were reunited with relatives. Authorities say they're working on releasing the body camera footage from the officer who found the children, but technical issues have delayed the process. Lazaire remained at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center as of this past Thursday afternoon. It doesn't say how old the children were, but it just says they were young.
They're probably more traumatized by their aunt having to go to court than the actual incident itself. It seems a little over the top.
Yeah, it seems like it's a little much even on the cops' part, it seems like it's a little much.
Yeah. You just take them home and have a talk with people. I don't know why they have to arrest her.
Right.
There are people doing way worse things to their children than that.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, speaking of over the top, I'm trying to get this story back. It seems to want to elude me here. You know what? I'll skip that story for now. Oh, wait. I'm on the wrong story. It's kind of fun. I'm calling audibles here, and I'm talking to myself, Jess. That's how you know I'm getting old. I'm talking to myself. It's time now for our Not Safe for Work section of our program. In order to get to our Not Safe for Work section of our program, it's real simple. We got to get you to get the kids out of the room at this point, or get your boss out of the room at this point, one or the other, because this is not safe for either one of them. It's either going to get you in trouble with your kids in the county, or it's going to get you in trouble at work, pretty much. So put them in a closet, put headphones on them, and we'll start this section up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now, here's the deal. We've got some of those what you call not so safe for work stories. And some of these stories this week are kind of violent, Jess. I'm not going to lie. They're kind of violent. This first one is kind of violent. A hot-headed bartender stabbed a patron after an argument over a bar tab and crude remarks about his victim's dead mother. I mean, but again, I'm going to let you guess where we're going.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida. The state where everything is nice. A Florida bartender allegedly stabbed a patron 10 times and made crude remarks about the victim's dead mother all over a bar tab. Can't just pay the tab and be nice?
Yeah.
Oh. 30-year-old Jason Wilfredo Rosario faces charges of attempted second-degree murder in the incident that occurred on August 31st at Grumpy's Underground Bar in Orlando. Okay, maybe that's not the place to have good cheer.
I do love the name, though.
There is a former Grumpy's in Coon Rapids here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I remember that. I would love to go to a Grumpy's. I just like the name of it. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Cops responded to the bar after being flagged down by a woman with blood all over her hands.
Oh, no.
She told cops she was in an alley behind the bar when she heard two men fighting. A man later brushed past her and said there had been a stabbing. She walked back into the bar when a patron alerted her to the blood on her hands. The victim told the cops the argument began when Rosario charged him for drinks that were not served, according to police. The manager ironed out the situation, but Rosario was displeased. He kept berating the victim, saying, "You can suck a D," and we're not talking about a sunny D. You know, you can suck a dick is what he's saying, right? Over and over again, he kept saying this. Cops wrote in the affidavit. Can you imagine that the cops just kept writing it out like it was something on a blackboard? You can suck a dick. You can suck a dick. You can suck a dick. Rosario then made a comment about the victim's mother, who's deceased. That's not good for him. The suspect allegedly walked away from the victim, but then returned and said they should take the situation outside. You know, whenever you take the situation outside, good things don't happen. I'll just tell you that much.
No, that's usually the sign for bad things that are coming around the bend.
That's right. Once outside, the two continued their verbal spat until Rosario allegedly said something about the victim's mother sucking a dick. Okay, good things aren't going to happen after that. I'll just tell you that much. Yeah. That's when the victim punched the suspect, who fell to the ground, according to the affidavit. They tussled on the ground, and Rosario pulled out a knife and started slashing the victim in the back. Rosario allegedly said, "I got him," before the ordeal ended. The victim told the cops the incident occurred so quickly that he did not realize he had been stabbed. Cops noticed 10 stab wounds to his body, 7 to his left back area, and 3 others to his head. The victim was taken to the hospital. While officers were investigating, the bar owner came up to them and said, "Saucy stabbed somebody and it's not okay." Boy, that sounds like code for something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or it sounds like...
Doesn't sound like real. Like that's not...
It sounds like the lyric to a really bad folk song. Saucy stabbed somebody and it's not okay. We're all going to the hospital today. Yep. According to the affidavit, she identified the suspect as Rosario, whom she knows as Jock Hip Hop. That's a really bad name.
Jock Hip Hop.
Jock Hip Hop.
What the heck?
That sounds like a CD set you buy at 3 a.m.
On those infomercials.
By Jock
All the
Hip Hop.
songs I danced to in my cheerleading days.
That's right. Jock Hip Hop 988 right now. Call today. The owner described Rosario as hot-headed, and she had been planning on firing him after he worked just 3 shifts. So he's a great worker.
Yeah, it's going real well.
Yeah. As the owner was speaking with cops, Rosario called her. An officer answered the phone and told Rosario he needed to return to the bar. Cops blamed an arrest warrant for Rosario and took him into custody on Friday. He remains in the Orange County Jail without bond. His next court date is scheduled for Wednesday. Although, I'll tell you this much, Jess. I'm going to get me some Jock Hip Hop tonight. I'm going to order the CD set.
I think we need it.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Hey! Dun, 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 dun. Hey!
going to go see if I can squeeze into my cheerleading uniform, and I'll listen to it all night long.
Wow. See, it's inspirational. It's quite the deal. All right, I got a picture here of this young woman who, as you can tell, looks like she's pleasant to be around.
She's having a bad day.
You think so?
Or she's just generally angry at the world.
I think so. Yeah. I don't think she's part of the congeniality squad. Good way of putting it. I'll tell you why. This woman I just showed you the picture of, Jess, let's just say you don't F with her PlayStation 4.
Ooh. Good advice. I mean, I wouldn't F with a young person's PlayStation 4 if they're gaming, you know.
Yeah. Here's what happened when her brother and mom got involved and said, honey, maybe you should take a break. Maybe you should take a break from the old PS4, right? She said, brother, come here, and then grabbed his groin and squeezed and then choked out her mom.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot to process here, right? Yeah, I'm thinking, maybe at that point we should put down the controller. Put down the controller.
It's addictive, though. She's clearly addicted to her game. Maybe
we should think about meditation at that point.
It's like taking the pipe away from a crack addict.
Yeah, but maybe we should think about, something calming like Xanax at that point instead of dopamine from the video game.
That's crazy.
Again, we're in Florida. It doesn't shock me. A Florida woman is convicted of choking her mother and grabbing her brother by the groin in an argument spurred on by a missing PlayStation 4 game. Oh, if you've got me by the short and curlies, I'm finding your game for you. And pretty quick. Yeah. A Marion County jury last week convicted 21-year-old Alexandra Dominguez on charges of domestic battery by strangulation and battery after deliberating for just 20 minutes. Do you think the jury was like, can we see the marks again? We just want to confer.
I'm just going to confirm that she actually grabbed his nads.
Yeah. We need to see the claw marks in the scrotum, Your Honor.
Oh. That's vicious. Ouch.
On April 24th of 2024, Dominguez followed her mother and brother from a park to their home off Southwest 43rd Terrace Road in Ocala to grab a PlayStation 4. The victims told Dominguez to wait outside so they could get the game console and give it to her. When they handed it over to her, she became irate over a missing game. A verbal argument began just outside the front door and quickly turned physical. Dominguez first attacked her mother by grabbing her by the throat. Thank you, Undertaker. What's with the wrestling move? Automatically you just go for the choke slam. Okay. Someone's been playing too many games.
It's effective.
I guess. The mother ran inside, but Dominguez chased her and pushed her onto the couch. Dominguez again put her hands around her mother's throat and choked her for about a minute. A probable cause arrest affidavit went on to detail that. Based upon the statement by the reportee and the length of time the suspect had her hands around the reportee's throat, one could reasonably believe the blood flow of the reportee's throat was restricted, detectives wrote. Really? You don't say. The brother tried to intervene. Someone's got to come to mom's rescue.
Good boy.
Yeah, way to go, kid. Step in there and help your mom.
He probably regrets it, though.
Yeah, but, someday mom's going to want grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Dominguez grabbed his groin and squeezed and pulled the hair on his beard. It was kind of a double-decker motion,
Yeah. That really threw me off, Tim. For some reason, the whole time you've been telling this story, I've envisioned the brother as being like 13-ish or something. And then you said beard and my whole vision went, what?
Your whole dynamic changed, didn't it?
He said bearded child? No, he's a grown man.
He's
clearly.
a grown man. He's like, oh, you want some of this? She was like, you want some of this, huh, kid?
Ouch.
She's very grabby.
She is.
Yeah, there's no boundaries with this kid.
Nobody taught her hands are not for hurting.
Yeah. Hands are loving hands. not
Yes.
Yes.
Hands are for hugging.
Yeah. Dominguez was eventually removed from the home, but she continued to pound on the front door. Hands are made for pounding, evidently, with Miss Dominguez. Dominguez drove back to her home in Naples, but cops later arrested her. The sentencing date has not yet been set for Miss Dominguez.
That is wild. Can you imagine, like, what would it take for you to react that way? You just acted like that over a video game. Like, I can't think of anything that would make me try to choke out my mom and grab my brother by the junk.
Ouch. Sorry for the ET impression, but ouch.
Ouch.
I don't know, but I know this much. If I'm her boyfriend, I'm not asking for a hand job because I'm thinking she's a little rough. She's a little rough.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
Yeah. Another guy who doesn't quite know boundaries, Jess. Another guy who probably doesn't know the meaning of wooing. The guy who doesn't know the meaning of romanticizing is our next guy. Here's the headline. I did it. Man murders his girlfriend, then joyfully FaceTimes his ex while lying next to her bloody body to show her.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Guess what, honey? I got room for you now.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I told you some of these are a little violent today. An Arizona man accused of murdering his girlfriend and her dog. And then, yeah, nice guy. And then calling his ex to boast about it has been found guilty. Thank God.
Put that man in jail.
I can see now why he's an asshole killer. His name is Taten Dorfman.
Wow.
I mean, if your name was that, you'd probably kill people too.
Taten Dorfman.
Taten Dorfman. Taton. What kind of name is that?
No.
Were you eating paint chips as a kid, and that's the best name you could come up with? I mean,
it could be a soap opera name, right? Like they're always trying to come up with weird names. Taten. Well, it sounds a little too close to taint.
It does. See, yeah, it's a little too close to the taint. You're right. Yeah.
No, thank you.
No. And then Dorfman is not a great last name.
Dorfman sounds, I don't know, harsh, and
I keep thinking of Dorf on golf. You know the little guy. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taten Dorfman, all of 30 years old, was convicted of second-degree murder for the killing of 30-year-old Hannah Rogers, according to Tucson CBS affiliate KOLD. Do you find it ironic that the Tucson CBS station is cold?
A little bit.
That's horrible. Dorfman committed the crime on the night of July 28th of 2024. He shot Rogers in the head, killing her, and he also shot and killed her dog, according to authorities. Then he he didn't kill her. He called his ex-girlfriend after that. Probably killed her spirit. I got to think that. According to local ABC affiliate KGUN, K-Gun, boy, they are cleverly named over there in Arizona, aren't they? The suspect called his ex-girlfriend on FaceTime and showed himself lying next to Rogers' body with blood around her head. I killed her. I did it, he reportedly exclaimed. Who are you, Bob the Builder? We did it. We did it. Huh?
It's so weird. Like she'd be so proud of him.
Right? The ex-girlfriend is said to have taken screenshots and reported the crime to police. Way to go, girl. Officers arrived at the crime scene on the 5400 block of West Mosquito Drive. Yes, that's a real street.
You'd never find that street in Minnesota.
No, never.
No one would live on it.
Right. They'd probably spray that street all the time. They showed up there at 10:30 p.m. and tried to speak with Dorfman. The Marana Police Department said that, but he barricaded himself in the residence for several hours. During the standoff, Dorfman admitted to killing Rogers and said he was going to kill himself. Does that seem like
you should have just done that in the first place?
Right? Doesn't that seem like a cop-out? Like, you got caught.
Yeah.
Like, you called the ex, like, all happy and proud, and then when she turns you in, you're like, oh, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do myself in. That seems like you have no other answers.
Yeah, and by no measure do I want anyone to kill themselves, but if your alternative plan is to kill someone else, I'd prefer that you just harm yourself rather than other people.
Right.
And the dog, come on, what'd the dog ever do to anyone?
Yeah, the dog didn't do anything. With help from the Pima County SWAT team, officers convinced Dorfman to exit the house at 3:30 a.m. the following morning. According to KOLD, the cold snap, Dorfman had blood on his face and hands, but no injuries. It had to be the ex's, obviously, or the current girlfriend, rather. Mm-hmm. Police officers said they found a large amount of drug paraphernalia and alcohol inside the home, as well as Rogers' body and the dead dog. Dorfman was arrested and charged with murder and cruelty to animals. A GoFundMe created for Rogers described her as a beautiful, smart, and funny woman. She lit up rooms with her smile. It goes on. She was caring for all life and would always be there for anyone in need of help. She will be deeply missed by all who knew her. We are still in disbelief that this even happened. Dorfman is expected to be sentenced on October 20th. Marana is about 20 miles northwest of Tucson, Arizona. All right. We don't get political very often on this show, Jess.
Okay.
But this is so batshit crazy and funny, I have to read it.
Okay.
Because I saw this letter and I was like, oh no, I need to share this with you guys. I really do. Because I couldn't stop laughing. Okay, so you remember not the first assassination attempt on President Trump, but the second one. The one that was desperately so weird. So Trump goes golfing, I believe, was this was in Butler, Pennsylvania. No, not Butler, Pennsylvania. That was the first assassination. He went golfing at West Palm Beach, the International Golf Club, Trump International Golf Club. It was the one that they said nobody would know possibly where he would even be. So he went to Trump International Golf Club, West Palm Beach. And this guy was hiding in the bushes outside a fence line. And he had like a backpack and he had a gun and he had like snacks or some crap. Right. And it was very odd. And like, he didn't even take a shot. Like the Secret Service saw him right away and went running towards him. And the cowardly chicken shit took off running or something like that. And they caught him.
Throwing fruit snacks at him as he ran.
Yeah. And they're just throwing snacks at him as he runs. And it was just a weird deal.
I remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't even really an assassination attempt. It was the kid chickened out and he ran. Well, the guy accused of plotting to assassinate President Trump filed a bonkers motion challenging him to a round of golf for the presidency.
Okay.
That's not even the worst part, Jess. It gets better. This guy is batshit crazy. And I think I'm liking it.
Yes.
I'm thinking President Trump should listen to it. Just once. Because if he's half the golfer he says he is, he's going to beat him anyway. So why not? The man suspected of trying to assassinate President Donald Trump at his Florida golf course has filed a motion challenging him to a round on the links, with the winner getting the White House. Last September, a Secret Service agent spotted Ryan Routh in the shrubbery at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. Routh aimed a rifle at the agent before dropping the weapon and running off. Probably because he realized that guy was armed too and he was going to shoot him and kill him.
Right.
Yeah. At the time, Trump was golfing, but he had not yet come into Routh's view. The president was, he was focused on his game. He had no clue.
Right.
And the Secret Service agent was so good that he was like, I could pick this kid off and just, but I don't want to disturb the president. He's got a good game going here. And, I don't want to freak him out. That assassination plot came 3 months after Trump was shot in the ear during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, on Tuesday of this past week, Ralph filed a motion making several odd requests, including, Jess, strippers, a golf match for the presidency, and even a beatdown session from Trump.
Hey, he wants Trump to beat him? This is weird.
Oh, it's good. Are you ready for this? I'm going to read this letter. It's so weird.
Okay. I pulled the guy up on my computer screen so I can see who you're talking about. It makes it even more fun.
Yeah.
He looks crazy.
Here's the letter. It goes as such. He says, to present new evidence 2 weeks before court when it has been almost a year for them to gather all they needed, need I say more? It is absurd. Ralph goes on to say, the deadline has passed. If you would like to trade admitting the evidence for my subpoena of that baboon Donald J. Trump, bring that idiot on. It is a deal. Again, this is Ryan Ralph's words. If you do not want to trade for a dumbass, then give me all the others on my recent subpoena list. But I think a beatdown session would be more fun and entertaining for everyone. Give me shackles and cuffs and let the old fat man give it his worst. So yes, he wants Donald Trump to beat him while he's in shackles.
Chained and can't move.
Yeah. It
got really weird really fast.
It did, didn't it? He's got like an S&M complex and he wants Trump to take swings.
Oddly sexual. It's creeping me out.
Isn't it? I think he'd get a little chub while Trump is beating him.
I think he's kind of hot for Trump.
A little bit. He's got a little chubby for Trump. Chubby for Trump. That sounds like a campaign slogan. He also goes on to say, we must beat down crime in America. Carpet is red, isn't it? No harm in blood. If I am housed at Fort Lucy, can it be in a far-off, quiet room, and can I have access to documents, phone, visitation, email, and maybe a computer and printer, or a fancy typewriter like this one? Some female strippers would be great, too. Model parent, in parentheses. Or perhaps a putting green, so I can work on my putting. A golf joke. A round of golf with the racist pig. He wins, he can execute me. I win, I get his job. Sorry, Hillbilly Vance.
Dang. There's a lot going on in that letter.
Yeah. You don't think there's medication needed here, do you?
I mean, the carpet is red, so...
Yeah, the carpet's red. So.
I mean, obviously.
I have no idea what half that letter means.
I don't either. The stripper part's hilarious, though.
Yeah, just strippers, It's always, maybe he and Trump can bond over some strippers. Maybe what he does is he puts a couple of strippers in front of him, gets them all dazed and confused, and then wham, hits them. But
he doesn't want to hit him. He wants to be hit. He's a submissive, Tim.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Trump hits him while he's got him dazed with
Trump's
strippers.
Hitting him. Okay.
See, he gets the distraction going, and then he hits him. Knocks him out.
So weird.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
Wow. What's really sad is just looking at this guy on the internet. He has children. So this is someone's dad.
Oh, so there's spawn of this guy out there?
Yes. Yeah. He was married until 2003 and he has 1, 2, 3 children.
You know what they say? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, I hope it fell very far. I hope it fell by mom's tree and not his.
Ralph was charged, by the way, with attempting a federal officer and multiple firearms violations. A judge recently approved his request to represent himself, so he has no lawyer going into this trial.
Oh, come on.
This trial is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and jury selection for his trial begins September 8th. Actually, it began yesterday. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. It's going to be like a circus, a monkey circus. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Oh, wild.
Oh, fun stuff. Speaking of fun, you ready for this next story?
Yes.
The headline is extremely bizarre. A man allegedly ran over his date after she didn't let him smell her feet.
Whoa.
I love the look on your face. See, this is why video is so fun now.
I know. We need to like make a sticker out of that. You know that last one where I looked totally crazy? I made a sticker out of it, and sometimes I like to text it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's he didn't okay.
That look too. Here's a guy right here who would like to smell your feet, Jess.
Wow. Well, I mean, just go ahead.
You know? And if
You're gonna run me over if I say no, just smell away, buddy.
Yeah. Otherwise he's gonna run you over. And of course, we're going where, Jess?
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
That's right. You know, your feet can get mighty stinky there in Florida with the humidity. You know what I mean? A man allegedly stinky feet in Florida. It's the humidity. A man allegedly ran over a woman with his SUV on their first date after she refused to let him sniff her feet and use sneakers.
Wow. I mean, good for her for standing up for herself.
There's
Really backfired, though.
She's like, I have boundaries. And he's like, I have four-wheel drive. And that's where they went from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so aggressive.
It really is. This sounds like a place I lived at one time. The victim told police that she met 28-year-old Elmonte Circle. That's his name, Elmonte Circle, which sounds like an old address of mine. On the dating app Seeking. That's the dating app we stay away from, Seeking. Yep.
Sure.
According to a probable cause affidavit reviewed by Law and Crime, Seeking, formerly Seeking Arrangements, initially gained popularity as a service to connect wealthy individuals or sugar daddies and sugar mamas with younger individuals looking for financial or material support or sugar babies. Really? That's a thing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Huh.
When we get old, we can find a sugar baby.
I was going to say, do I still qualify as a sugar baby?
And we're kind of somewhere between sugar daddy and sugar babies and sugar mama.
I see. Okay.
Not quite old enough to be a sugar daddy mama.
But still maybe a little old to be a sugar baby.
We're in that gray area. We're in that gray area where we could only get paid to let people smell our feet.
Oh, I see. That's what it is. Yeah. Right. Okay. Seeking explicit. What is that? That is a weird word. Seeking explicitly notes that this behavior is prohibited on its website, saying the site is distinctly different from its original model and is instead now intended for building genuine and aspirational partnerships. Oh, so they're like, we're trying to get away from the freaky deaky.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're trying to say. Yeah, they're just using fancy language. Circle met the victim at the Serena Hotel around 2 p.m. on August 24th, and he immediately asked to smell her feet and purchase her used sneakers. What, no dinner first? I mean, it was just, what's up, girl?
Honestly, mistake number one,
right,
going on that app for a date. Mistake number two, meeting him at a hotel for the date.
Right. I mean,
go to a coffee shop, girl.
Yeah. I mean, what? No. Good evening. How you doing? Hey, you want to go get dinner? You want to, sit and talk and have coffee? Hey, you look nice tonight. It's just, girl, take them shoes off and let me smell them digits. I mean, that's kind of rude, I mean,
honestly, I'd be relieved that was the weirdest thing he did. If I was meeting some weird guy from a dating app at a hotel, like, oh, thank God he's not trying to murder me. He just wants to sniff my toes.
Jess is like, that's it. Here, I'll buy some flip flops in the hotel.
They're extra stinky.
I'll buy some flip flops in the hotel gift shop. I mean, shit, if that's it, that's all you need.
Got another pair of them at home if you want them.
let me Let me take you home and let you go through my closet. I
Should have told me how to wear my running shoes. Those are really bad.
I need some extra cash. Evidently, this Mercari thing isn't working out. She said, when I got there, he just wanted to sniff my feet, and I didn't feel comfortable with that. The victim told local outlet WPLG. I mean, you could have my sneakers all you want. I don't care. I'm not wearing them. They're just old sneakers. But people like weird things, she said. The victim reportedly told Circle that she would sell him her shoes for $1,000, but she left them in her car and would have to retrieve them. She ascribed the high price to her occupation as a foot model and said that it was her going rate. Oh, come on. Don't bullshit a bullshitter. $1,000.
Quite a match.
$1,000, oh, really?
I mean, I don't know. If I was a foot model.
When the victim momentarily stepped into the bathroom, she said she spotted Circle sprint out of a hotel room and assumed he stole something from her. She told the officer she chased the man into the parking lot and watched him jump into a red Mercedes SUV. Oh, he's got money.
Wow. I mean, he can afford to pay people for sneakers.
Yeah.
The sniff.
Yeah. The way you put that was so naughty. To sniff. Circle allegedly made a 3-point turn. Oh, he knows how to do that.
Well done. Yeah. Very nice.
And hit the victim with his car at that point, running her over.
That's not nice.
And leaving her with road rash and bruises over much of her body. Well, he didn't want to sniff those, did he?
No.
I've never experienced anything like this before, the victim told WPLG. I've met a lot of people who have foot fetishes, obviously, and nobody has ever done anything of this caliber. She went on to call the experience extremely bizarre. Circle was arrested and charged with aggravated battery.
So is she like a foot model who has an agent, or is she like an OnlyFans foot model? I feel like they're two different calibers. Is a foot model a thing?
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's hand models. So
yeah, there's foot models, but I think she's probably the latter. I think she's probably only.
I couldn't be a foot model. I don't have pretty feet.
Somebody said something to me once. I'm not going to reveal who it was, but they said, I said, I said after the Charcot foot, I could never be a foot model, and they went, dude, there's freaks out there too that'll want to get a gander at that Charcot foot.
They like that, huh?
Yeah, they kind of get off on deformities. And I was like, oh, you sick freak, you think?
You could probably make a lot of money.
Yeah. But then you gotta ask yourself, well, who's getting off on deformities like that?
Well, it doesn't matter. Just put the money in the bank account.
Oh, look at you, Jess. Yeah, you're right. Girl, yeah.
Oh, show off that deformed foot.
Yeah.
Work it.
Yeah. I like your thinking. Right? Okay.
No, I don't know. I have kind of hairy toes. You think there are people out there that like hairy toes?
I'm sure. Everyone's got to get their freak on. There's
not so hairy you could braid it or anything. It's not that bad, but
right. Everyone's got their little, everyone's got their picadillos.
Yeah. Well, I blame a girl back in cheerleading. Honestly, we were coming home from a football game cheering, and she said, you need to shave your toes. And I was like, really? That's a thing? So I did. And then everything you shave grows back hairier. Yes. So that was like my thing when I was teaching my girls how to shave. I'm like, just never shave your toes. And every now and then I'm like, that bitch, I bet she did that on purpose.
She probably did. Yeah. Yeah, you never touch body hair unless you want it to grow back.
Yeah.
Thicker. Yeah.
I don't think anyone else notices it, but if I was foot modeling, that could be my thing. You could have the deformed foot and it would be the hairy toe girl. We can make millions.
Yeah. That sounds like a buddy cop show too. Deformed foot and toe hair.
Can be so rich.
We are. We're going to make millions. This is like the 18th time we've discovered something on this show that we're going to make millions at.
Never do.
We never do.
We got to follow through. That's the problem.
Now that neither one of us won Powerball this weekend.
I know. And I did try. I bought a Powerball ticket for the first time in my whole life. I didn't even know how to do it.
Yeah, but hey, you did it though, right?
I was like, you know what? You might as well.
Yeah. Can't win if you don't play.
That's right.
There's the cliche of the day. Can't win if you don't play. All right.
All right. So who's setting up the OnlyFans account? You or me?
We'll talk about it off air. Yeah. But yeah. I've got interesting charcoal foot pictures for everybody. Okay, we've got what do we got? We got a couple more stories here. Oh, another Mother of the Year story.
Well, let's have it. These always make me feel better about myself.
Police are called in as a woman climbs up onto her car and strips down to her bra and twerks at a kid's fun day.
Lord.
Hey, we all got to make money somehow, right? Although I don't know if she was making any money at this. But the ultimate in class here, Jess, is that she got up on top of a Peugeot. Are you familiar with a Peugeot?
No, but it sounds really fancy.
It's not. Let me show you what it is.
Oh.
This is a Peugeot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's like a station wagon.
Yeah, it's like
or
a
minivan.
It's like a VW grocery getter.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's twerking on that. Go, girl.
Yeah, she's letting it all hang out. Police were called to a children's fun day after a woman reportedly climbed on top of a car and took off her top. Families attending West End Fun Day in Leek in England took action due to the woman's antics. And
all the other moms were like, where did she sign up to volunteer for that part?
Yeah, that's not bringing cookies. I mean, by bringing cookies.
Well, that's not the sign up, genius.
Yeah, unless by bringing cookies, you mean bringing cookies. They claim the woman stripped off her top to reveal her bra and danced inappropriately on the stage where performances were taking place. It is then claimed that she got on the roof of a black Peugeot where she continued to make suggestive movements in front of the children. Well, she's just showing them a new career.
Yeah.
Eyewitnesses allege the same woman also drove around the wreck in the vehicle. PCSOs were in attendance before officers were called into the scene. It is claimed the incident lasted more than an hour. Oh, boy, that's an uncomfortable hour, isn't it?
An hour?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Though, honestly, Tim, if this would have happened at one of my kids' like family fun nights, I'd have been like, oh, my God. Yeah, it's finally something exciting.
Finally. Yeah. Glad it's not me.
Yeah, I'd be like, I knew Karen was crazy.
There she is. There she goes. She's out there going, don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? And you're like, yeah, I get it, girl. You're like, if you need an agent, it's not me. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
One mom told Stoke-on-Trent Live she was on top of her car shouting obscenities and dancing. Oh, that's what we like to call the Tourette stripper. Yeah, that's always popular in the clubs.
Oh.
She refused to come down, so she took her top off. Oh, of course. PCSOs waited for a police officer to come. She then drove around the wreck in her car right next to the play area, probably to keep the kids contained. It's quite common. Another added on social media, she was dancing and twerking very inappropriately in front of young children. Moms were having to cover up their children's eyes with their hands. Dads? No hands.
No.
Nope. Fun that way. The PCSOs practically rugby tackled her off stage and everyone cheered as she walked away.
Oh, was she someone's mom? Like, that's so sad for that kid.
Or is it? I mean, he might be pretty popular with the kids the next day.
I don't know. I'm living in a constant space of trying not to embarrass my children, and I'm like, that would probably do it. My son cried when I came to his school to talk about writing books. Like, can you imagine what he would have done if I was twerking on top of a car?
Applauded? I mean, yeah, Mom.
He would have been mortified.
Well, it depends on the reaction of his buddies. If his buddies were like, oh, and fall in love with you, then he's like, that's my mom. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. See? It's not yet known if any arrests were made, so she might have got away with this. Stoke-on-Trent Live has contacted Staffordshire Police for a statement. Probably the one statement they got was, can we get a repeat performance at the next gathering? We're just curious.
Can we hire you for our next party?
Right. This next story, Jess, is not going to qualify as a palate cleanser.
Oh, no.
It's probably going to be...
Is this our last one, too?
No. We
Okay.
have 2 stories left. This is probably going to be a palate offender.
Oh, no.
Prepare to go... A man... I'm going to show you the man. First of all, tell me this man right here.
Okay.
Okay.
He looks normal.
Okay. I want you to burn his image into your brain.
Okay.
You got it?
Yep. It's
Okay.
in there.
All right. I'm going to read the headline. You ready for the headline?
I'm scared.
Man indicted for putting semen in yogurt sample.
Wow. Oh,
Tell me,
no.
now that you've seen his picture, how do you think he tastes?
Oh, he does not look normal at all. He looks like a degenerate. I hate him so much. Oh, gross.
Did you just throw up in your mouth a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
I don't know why you do this to me. Yogurt samples, like when you go to Costco and you get a yogurt sample. So now I can't even sample things at Costco anymore.
See?
It's my favorite part.
Wasn't that fun?
Bastard. Ruins everything.
Sorry. A grocery store clerk was indicted yesterday on federal charges for allegedly giving a female shopper a yogurt sample that was tainted with his semen and then lying to federal agents about the revolting incident.
Oh, that poor woman. Did she eat it? Or did she notice before she put it in her mouth?
I'm about to tell you.
Oh, I don't want to know. But I want to know.
Do you?
I don't, but I do. I'm torn. Tell me.
32-year-old Anthony Garcia was named in a 2-count indictment filed late yesterday in U.S. District Court in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's scheduled to be arraigned this morning on federal charges, felony charges, by the way. Yes, it's a felony to put your yogurt in her yogurt. The January 25th incident was initially investigated by the Albuquerque Police Department before the case was turned over to federal officials. According to a police report, the female victim told cops that she was shopping with her daughter at the Sunflower Farmers Market when she was approached by a pushy Garcia offering her the yogurt sample. I bet he was pushy.
Oh.
Are you ready, Jess?
Mm-hmm. She ate it.
After tasting the yogurt, the woman immediately thought the sample tasted gross and disgusting.
No.
And cops said it tasted like semen. So she's been there before, Jess. She's familiar with the...
Well, I mean, she has a child, so... But...
she's familiar with the palate. A lab test confirmed that the yogurt sample provided by Garcia contained his brand. Investigators then secured a search warrant authorizing the collection of blood and DNA samples from Garcia. Subsequent testing revealed that the semen found in the yogurt sample consumed by the female shopper matched Garcia's DNA. If convicted of adulterating the yogurt, Garcia faces a maximum of 3 years in prison. That's it. 3 years. That's it.
That is not enough.
While the false statements count could result in a maximum of 5 years sentence. So he gets more time for lying about the fact that he squeezed one off in her yogurt than the fact that he squeezed one off in her yogurt. You tell me why that's wrong.
That's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many other times he's done this. There's no way it's his first time.
No. My guess is multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah. It's probably a fetish for him.
Oh, then I would have eaten it. I love samples. I'm like, yay, thanks. And he looks really fairly normal. Like,
Yeah.
I'd have been like, thank you so much, gentlemen, sir.
He'd be like, here, try it. It's protein. There's a lot of protein in this. There's a lot of protein. And you would have just been like, oh, thank you. What's wrong with this?
You'd be like, we're not buying that. That's icky.
That doesn't taste like regular yogurt. You're right. It's a special Garcia brand.
Oh, Mr. Garcia. Come on.
All right, one more before our palate cleansers today.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to show you a picture of a priest.
Okay. Well,
You're already,
what is,
you suspect the worst, right?
what's going on here?
I'm about to tell you. There's a
He looks
reason.
high as a kite.
There's a reason why he's headlining Dumb Crime Stupid Criminals, right?
Oh, it's got to be good.
Yep, I'm about to tell you. He looks a little daffy, that's for sure. There's some electronics at the center of this case that happened at a Pearl River church in Louisiana. Here's the headline. Electronics at the center of a sexual encounter at a Pearl River church on the altar. An encounter on the altar, Jess, are being ordered returned, but the data must be deleted.
So he was getting it on the altar with one of the church ladies?
Not one.
No. He was tag teaming them
He had a couple of them going at
at the same time?
Mm-hmm. WWL Louisiana and a reporter now at The Guardian broke the story of the arrest of Travis Clark and two women on top of the altar at the Tammany Parish
Wow.
Church.
That's a holy experience.
I guess, right? St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana is where we're going. A St. Tammany Parish judge has ordered the return of electronics belonging to an ex-Roman Catholic priest who pleaded guilty to obscenity for being caught having sex with two dominatrices atop a Pearl River church altar. You didn't think you'd hear that today, did you?
No.
Well, still belonging to the clergy in 2020. In the middle of COVID.
Wow, he was bored. I'm lonely.
However, the judge also told authorities to erase all data from the devices and storage media as a precaution against videos taken of the tryst from becoming public. So in other words, no OnlyFans for the Holy Father. Yeah.
Wow.
So
very disturbing.
Do you suppose as they're up there on the altar, you hear, whip me, beat me, make me believe in Jesus? I mean, because...
like that. I think that was a sermon he prepared for that
I think
particular moment.
Yeah. The ruling from 22nd Judicial District Court Judge Ellen Creel came in the case centering on Travis Clark as well as dominatrices whose professional names are Lady Vi, also known as Satanatrix.
No.
Yeah, she shouldn't be up on that altar. And Empress Ming, as in Flash Gordon, you know.
I'm surprised they didn't just burst into flames when they walked into the church.
Right, yeah. Why they didn't explode upon going across the threshold is beyond me, but the videos in question have been under indefinite court seal ever since the trio's encounter made international news headlines in 2020. WWL Louisiana and a reporter now at The Guardian broke the story of the arrest of Clark and the two women. Clark's attorneys, Mark Herner and Michael Kennedy, said that Creel on August 4th signed an order authorizing law enforcement officials to return cell phones, tablets, computers, gaming consoles, flash drives, and memory cards that they seized from Clark while he was under investigation. I think he was dubbing all this to get ready to sell it.
I mean, there's probably a market for it if there's people willing to pay to like look at toes and stuff.
hose and collars.
Yeah, like a priest and 2 dominatrix. That's money.
That is. Even though Herner said that he does not believe any of the sealed videos are on Clark's electronics, right? Wink, wink, say no more. The former clergyman was still awaiting his property's return on Friday while officials wiped them clean of all data. Herner added that he does not believe the dominatrices, who ultimately pleaded guilty to misdemeanors, have ever sought the return of electronics seized from them during the case. Yet, if they ever did get them back, officials would wipe those electronics of all data too, Herner said. Kennedy and Herner declined further comment, but The Guardian has learned from multiple sources with knowledge of the case that, among other things, the videos depicted a communion wine chalice being urinated in.
Oh, that's so terrible.
Right? I think there's a reason Clark is an ex.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on communion next time I'm at church. No, thank you.
Yeah. The videos also depict Clark wearing a style of underwear typically worn by women, as well as engaging in a sex act in a dormitory on the grounds of St. Peter's and Paul Church, which he once served as pastor. Clark, Lady Vi, and Empress Ming all fell under authorities' scrutiny after a passerby peering through a window saw the 3 evidently filming themselves having sex on the sanctuary altar at St. Peter and Paul Church on September 30th of 2020.
And that's the guy you're giving your confession to.
Yeah. By the way, police did respond to the church after they were called by the passerby, who took a cell phone video of what he could see, because if you saw that, you'd take one too.
Yeah, well, we could be like, no one's ever going to believe me.
Mm-hmm. Beside the arresting the group, officers confiscated stage lights, recording devices, and sex toys.
Wow, this was like a real production.
Yeah. So the pastor was setting it up for profit.
Wow, he was creating his own porn.
Yeah. New Orleans Archbishop Gregory Amond, whose archdiocese had filed for federal bankruptcy protection months earlier, amid the fallout of a decades-old clergy child molestation scandal, had the altar burned and consecrated a replacement.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, well...
I hope they washed out that chalice, too.
I think they probably destroyed it, yeah. Herner has previously maintained that Clark's actions may have offended Catholics, but were legal, consensual acts among adults. Nonetheless, Herner has said for his clients to move on with his life, or for his client to move on with his life. Clark pleaded guilty to obscenity in 2022. The women who traveled to Pearl River from out of state pleaded guilty that same year to institutional vandalism, and like Clark, they were sentenced to probation. Clark ended up serving some jail time after he was found to have violated his probation terms by giving an interview to WDSU in which he explained the episode from his perspective. He told the station that the celibate life, which Catholic priests promised to lead, along with the social distancing practices implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic at the time, left him facing issues of loneliness and wanting human interaction. Plus the fact that he was charging $19.95 per tape probably had a lot to do with it, too.
Also, I needed money.
Yeah, money's a big thing.
And apparently there's a market for priest porn.
Priest porn? Well, isn't that special? Struggling and failing, sinning too, priests sin as well, said Clark, who voluntarily left the priesthood. He went on to say that he still believes in God and continues, especially when he's yelling, "Oh God, oh God, oh God," on the altar, and continued considering mercy and forgiveness very important. Lady Vi gave an interview in October's issue of Hustler magazine.
This is her moment to shine, really.
Yeah, right. In which she said she had been invited to film porn, and the shoot location was at the church. Unfortunately, trespassers filmed us without our consent, Lady Vi told the publication. She referred to the group's subsequent prosecution, criticized the news media's coverage of the case, alluded to remarks from Amon that the altar sex was demonic, and asserted what matters is that we were consenting adults filming porn in a private location. But because we were in the Bible Belt and the building had mythical significance, it was deemed a crime. So she thinks she's Mother Teresa.
And Mother Teresa just turned over in her grave.
That's right, yes. And she was like, what? yeah, that's a fun story. So,
yeah.
Speaking of fun stories, our palate cleanser today, we may not have won the Powerball, but had we, I had some investment property all lined up for us.
Oh, yay.
Yep, I was already thinking ahead, but since it didn't happen, Jess.
Was it an old church where we could film our OnlyFans feet videos?
Yes, it was. Actually, it's a perfect place to film the feet videos and feet of other people.
Ooh.
And maybe some other things. An infamous Palm Springs nude swingers resort with play maze has gone on sale for $7.8 million.
Well, you should totally buy that.
Right? But alas, we have no funds.
No, darn it.
An infamous swingers resort steeped in X-rated history has gone up for sale for an eye-watering price as the exotic dream resort in the luxurious Palm Springs seeks new ownership.
I mean, everything's got to be sticky there.
Everything's got to be sticky. I don't know. It looks pretty clean to me.
I mean, there's just not enough bleach.
There's not enough bleach.
It does look nice. I'd swim there.
For a minute. I mean, until you learn how much bacteria is floating in there.
And they serve you yogurt by the bowl.
Yes, the yogurt pops is probably what's being served by the pool. What from the outside may look like a perfectly nice hotel in the luxurious Palm Springs area of California is actually hiding a raunchy secret, being the resort for one of the world's most infamous nude swingers clubs. The exotic dream resort's clothing optional policy attracted curious couples from around the world, but the swinging destination is now looking for a new owner, as it's been listed on the market for a whopping $10.5 million or just under 8 million pounds. But for anyone with a few $1 million lying around and looking for a spicier new investment, you won't have any issues with damp or the plumbing. Damp. Or the plumbing.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Or the plumbing with this motel boosting 40 newly renovated rooms. Oh, the rooms are newly renovated.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. There's 3 sparkling pools and an adult play maze, which you may have to use your imagination for.
I mean, I'm very curious. I'd love to see what an adult play maze is all about. I'd like to do it clothed now.
Yes, yeah. I'd like to keep my clothes on and see what the play maze is all about. Although it may be wise to keep a UV light away from the rooms, it says here. The resort is said to be ready to pick up and go with a list of repeat clientele who seem to keep coming back from time to time. Estate agent Adam Gilbert from the firm commercial told Realtor the owner spent over $500,000 redoing all of the underground plumbing with a more modern material. He did renovate a number of the rooms. The hotel was closed in 2024 and part of 2025 to do these renovations and just opened up again about a month or two ago. Oh, look, that looks positively lovely. That looks...
I mean, it does look really nice.
It looks very retro.
But just imagine all the naked people sitting on those chairs and leaving their bodily juices behind.
Oh, Jess!
I'm going to pass.
Imagine all the leather that's had to peel themselves off of that old leather. Because it's all old swingers, right, in Palm Springs. It's all 55 and up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just got the image in my head. But despite its new look, the hotel is steeped in some swinging history, Gilbert added. It's not only clothing optional, but it's a swinger lifestyle resort. Before it was Exotic Dreams Resort, it was called All Worlds Resort, which is a very popular gay men's resort, clothing optional. It's a very well-known property in terms of history. If you know, you know, he said. For the party planners among us, the next owner will not only gain the bricks and mortar, but also the staff, all the furnishings, and the access to the event schedule to carry on hosting its theme parties and events, such as their footballs and fluffy robes night. Huh?
I mean, it sounds like a dream for someone.
Footballs and fluffy robes. Why, that's positively lovely.
I mean, why do you have to put robes on when you're playing football? Just let it all hang out.
Look at you. You're just getting right down to it. The sale also includes the passing on of its extensive customer list and a popular online forum, but it's up to the next owner if they wish to capitalize on the unique clientele. However, perhaps unluckily for the risque folk of Palm Springs, its X-rated history could be something that's cast into the past, with the agents also advertising the chance to flip the resort into something all around more PG. Gilbert added, what we're seeing in the market is a lot of these clothing optional or niche hotels being converted into more traditional boutique hotels because that's where the market is heading. It's much more profitable to open up to everyone as opposed to going niche, 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 said the realtor. The current Exotic Dream setup is a big hotel for Palm Springs, holding twice the amount of rooms as the average resort in the area and being sat on a 1.5 acre plot. It may sway some closed-on developers to undergo a big rebrand into a conventional high-end resort. So there's that. And then one other thing here, Jess, and then we'll leave everybody today. There's kind of an interesting interview with Lucy Lawless. Remember Xena, the warrior princess?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did a quick little interview with The Guardian. So here's a picture of Lucy. So without telling you how old Lucy is, and it's not proper for me as a gentleman to tell you, how old do you think Lucy is these days?
I mean, she looks great.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, I'm trying to think of when she was at her height of that show. She's got to be 50 or more.
Yeah, she's
right?
She's 57.
Oh, she looks wonderful.
Yeah, she looks great for 57. But what's funny is she's kind of self-deprecating in the interview. Since she was on Xena Warrior Princess, she's been in Battlestar Galactica, Spartacus, Parks and Recreation, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Salem. She's done quite a bit. She's also been in Spider-Man, Boogeyman, Bedtime Stories, and Minions, and The Rise of Gru. She's done quite a bit of work on different TV shows. Well, and movies and whatnot. Well, what's funny is she also in this interview, they asked her certain questions. And a few of these questions are just kind of funny. They asked, what is the trait you deplore in yourself? And she said, laziness. What is the trait you deplore in others? And she said, cruelty. They asked what her most treasured possession was. She said her Antonio Carraro Tigre tractor. At the end of the week, I lovingly wash her down and re-grease her. I learned how to do everything on YouTube, right? She was asked to describe herself in 3 words: insular, creative, and mechanically minded. Okay. So they ask her what she dislikes about her appearance. You know, you ask beautiful people, what do you dislike about your appearance, right? Her answer was hysterical. She said, I have bag lady hair. I can't seem to get it right. I look like I've just had sex in a dumpster. No offense to bag ladies. I guess hair is just not high on my list of priorities.
In a dumpster. I love her even more.
They ask her, what's your most unappealing habit? She says, flossing my teeth in the car.
Ooh, yeah, nasty.
Yeah. They ask her, what scares you about getting older? She says, I don't want to get into an early death spiral. When you're scaling down your life unnecessarily because you've already been there or done that, I never want to stop adventuring. That got dark quick.
Yeah.
Right? They asked her, what do you want to be when you're growing up? And she said, a criminal pathologist. Then I saw a show called Quincy M.E. and realized I just wanted to play one on TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she wanted to have something to do with true crime when she was young. She said, what is the worst thing anyone said to you? She said, they tend to say it behind my back. And they asked her, which words or phrases do you most overuse? And she said, oh, for fuck's sake. So when she overuses the most. And they said to her, what would you like to leave your children? She said, a great education. So there you go.
Oh, that's a good interview. I like her.
Yeah. She did. They did ask her, and then in closing, they asked, what has been your closest brush with the law? She said, I got arrested for boarding and occupying a drill ship heading to the Arctic. I was with a team from Greenpeace, New Zealand. I spent a few hours in a cell. We were out before the end of the day. We managed to have a few laughs, but it was pretty stressful.
No, that's wild.
Yeah. So she's done some living.
Yeah, she sounds really interesting. And she looks great.
Yeah. So there you go, Lucy Lawless. Things you never knew you know about certain people.
Yeah. I like that for ending the show. That was good. I needed that. I'm still throwing up in my mouth over the yogurt, but I'll be okay.
Sorry about that. It's just every once in a while you get a weird
I mean, when you get the story, you've got to read it. You couldn't pass that one by.
I could if I were in the supermarket. I don't eat supermarket yogurt. I don't need anything that looks suspect for samples.
No.
Mm-mm.
I eat all the samples. Even if it's something I don't think I'll like, I'll be like, well, I should just try it. It's free.
Yeah. See? Be careful what you wish for.
Not anymore.
See? All right. Coming up tomorrow, Supernatural News with Mally Fox. And then Thursday, an old friend stops by with a brand new book, and it's on monsters.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds like a good one. I'm going to have to listen.
And monsters from around the world. So we got a busy week this week. It's going to be a good week. So
Sounds like a good one.
Jess, you've got all 87 of your books available right now for a signed copy, right?
Yes, you can go on my website, shoot me a message if you'd like a signed copy. I will get one to you.
Perfect. I only say all 87 in jest. It's the whole 4 at one time thing. I know I keep harping on it.
Before you know it, it will be 87. I'm like, how do I have? I think I have 14 right now, which is crazy. And then 3 more that I'm working on and just working on contracts for the next round. So
has the Hindustan Times called you personally now and said why 4 at one time? Why? Yeah.
They stopped over the other day and were like, please stop. It's too much.
They stopped over with plaques in hand, and the one guy was teetering and he was holding all 4 of your number 1 plaques at one time.
Yeah, they're like, you win already. Be done.
Yeah, just stop it already. You just deforested one whole forest in India for all these plaques. These number 1 plaques.
God.
Yeah. See? That's why you only release 1 at a time. Because
one at a time.
then we lose valuable forests in India. Just can't have that happen.
Oh, I can't say no. That's what happens. My publisher says, write more. And I say, okay, I'm on it.
Yeah, I'm on it. All right, that'll do it for today, folks. Again, that's the lineup for this week. I want to thank Jess for being on the show today. And
my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Tim.
Yeah. And next week, number 1 from number 3. That's what I'm predicting. So that'll do it. We'll see you tomorrow for Mally Fox and Supernatural News. For Jessica Freeberg, I'm Tim Dennis. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening and watching the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday.